Good morning, Westeros.
And welcome to our Morning Throners podcast.
I'm Nelson.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Kyle.
And we are your Morning Throners.
And welcome back to another episode of your favorite Song of Ice and Fire podcast. We are your Morning Throners, and we got Samwell 5 on deck. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Great!
Love that little turn into tiger action. Kyle, thoughts?
So I will preface this by saying that I started 2 pages or so in, and then I think I remember Nelson saying you should reread the prologue.
Yep, did you?
Yep, I did go back and reread the prologue.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, obviously, right?
I think immediately into the spoiler section, the last one, we were like, not a shot, he rereads the prologue.
Well, you're idiots.
There you go. Good job, Kyle. Did your homework.
Yeah. That's why I say later nerds when I leave. I'm talking directly to you two, and only you two.
No, they're all nerds here.
Anyone here?
But
yeah, get into it. What do you think?
it was a good one, right? I guess it still leaves so much open in the air, right? And I can that's like the problem with this. And then
to be honest, it just opens a whole nother trapdoor.
Yeah, exactly. And to know the whole this is the end of what we have probably for Sam right now. Maybe he gets some letters into John. I don't know. Right? Maybe that's my prediction for next book kind of thing is he gets a little bit of word from Sam occasionally in a John chapter, but we're not obviously going to get. I did read the after chapter as well, where George is explaining why he split it into 2 books. So that gives me a little bit more of that context, I guess, too. Right.
Guess we don't have to do that podcast next week then.
Well, it's not. It's a 1-pager.
I was joking.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
I saw.
And it's just he's just like, hey, you're wondering where these people went. Don't worry, I didn't forget about them. It made more sense to split the books by character than in half, kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
Jeff, synopsis, give it to us.
Samwell gets through the Whispering Strait.
Whispering Strait.
Well,
the Red Wine Straits and then the Whispering Sound. There's a map. It'll be in the podcast at some point.
It's the first time I've actually looked at the map while reading to understand.
Yeah.
We are
unfamiliar. It's an unfamiliar area of the continent for the most part. Right?
Yeah, for sure. I was completely in the dark every time they explained any locations. Yeah. I'm took his word for it.
Yeah. And we get to Old Town. Sam's figuring out what to do with Gilly. He's going to talk with the Archmaesters about what John has set him down with and Maester Aemon's body, and gets sidetracked by Marwyn and the Sphinx.
Yep, exactly.
And we end up down another rabbit hole.
Exactly. Cool meeting with Marwyn at the end. And Pate, who's the POV chapter. Normally POVs don't make it out of the prologue, but here we are, Pate, the pig boy, still kicking around. So.
I mean, you're gonna spoil the whole prediction stuff right at the beginning here. Is that what we're gonna do?
We'll have to get there.
I'm just pointing out what's in the chat.
I feel like that's gonna uncork the conversation. That
Well, Kyle, just pretend I didn't say that.
Let's get in the chronological order.
Just teasing the listeners a little bit.
Okay, yeah, you can leave it in.
All right, so they're in the last part of the trip, right? They're still on the ship with the Moes, right? The Moes is the last name.
Koja Moes.
And
Kahora.
Yeah.
There's actually a third one we hear in this chapter that I wasn't sure if it's a typo or not, and I really couldn't find anything online about it. The wiki didn't really mention the third one, so I have no idea. But there might be
another mistake.
This is a good spot to look at the map, though, right off the bat, because they're not in the water for long, and that's kind of the important part here. So I'll put the map in the podcast right now. But yeah, like Jeff said, the first part, they're in the Red Wine Straits, which we can see is that piece of water between the arbor and mainland. And then as they kind of go up into the bay, I guess the Whispering Sound, I'm guessing sound is it's a water term. It's like K or bay or something like that, right? So yeah, they're in the Whispering Sound.
I actually didn't know that before.
I didn't. I thought
there's sounds around us.
Nelson, you were just on the sound when you were in Seattle, the Puget Sound.
There you go. I didn't know that.
That's the body of water Seattle is on.
The thing that I thought was the ocean the whole time.
And it was a lake.
Well, if you're on Seattle, it was not the ocean. Yeah,
basically. Yep. So yeah, that's where they're at, and he's going in, and he ends up at Old Town, which is kind of known for the High Tower and the Citadel, which we see both of those. Sam sees both of those on the way in. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Last time we saw him, he was dead south of Dorne, still on the
Explain
boat.
To me how the first part is the Iron Men have obviously taken over this region because we know the Red Wine fleet's overseas, was at King's Landing, but they're on their way. So, but where are the Iron Man attacking? Are they just out at sea? Are they in this strait? I don't understand how they would get away from them if they were in the same little strait here.
Yeah, while we're had this map up, you can see up north of Old Town, those other islands. That's what we saw them capture in that the Victorian chapter. So they've been working their way down, probably raiding the coast, probably up the Mander towards Highgarden. We don't really know how far they would have gotten there. But that's kind of what Sam's afraid of, because if you look at the map, he does think of Horn Hill, where he's from later. That's kind of in between Old Town and Highgarden. Yep. So he's probably afraid of them raiding, not really from Old Town to his house, but from the Mander to his house, right? Which is that river near Highgarden.
I mean, yeah, they're just kind of in the war zone. Right?
Yeah. But to Jeff's question of where are they kind of in relation to Sam is now, basically what we hear from, I think they heard it in Tyrosh, and they hear more once they talk to one of the people that boards them in the Sound. The Iron Men have taken a lot of the islands, basically any of the small islands off the coast of the Arbor. So the Arbor is a big island. They've taken all the small islands off the coast and some of the major port cities. Sounds like they haven't fully raided inland and taken over the actual castles, like the Red Wine Castle and stuff quite yet, but they pretty much control the ports and surrounding islands.
So yeah, Jeff, they're patrolling Red Wine Strait there. That's what it is, right?
I guess the strait's big enough that you can run from there.
Oh yeah, that's massive.
When I looked in the book, it didn't look nearly as big.
I think that's just kind of like one of those scale things that just you don't understand. I'm sure that's like a big body of water.
To Jeff's point, though, there are 1,000 of them, right? There should be 1,000 of these Ironborn ships out and about.
No, I don't think they're all here. I think they're still, like you said, going up the Mander. They're kind of spread out in this region.
Exactly. That was going to be my next point. Is yes, there's 1,000, but they are, I would say, spread out between the Shield Islands, which they captured before, and here. Plus, he sent Victorion off with some amount.
Yeah, half the fleet or something, right? Yeah.
Probably a couple hundred at least. So yeah, there's probably 600 here. We probably know the number, I just forget. But yeah, there's probably, but they're spread out. Exactly. So, and they do see some, Jeff.
Yeah. So they outran 2 of them, and then one of them got too close, and they shot arrows at them till they turned away.
Yeah, one of them was kind of waiting, it seems like right at the corner where they're first entering the Sound, and that's the ones that shoot arrows at, and they're like, yeah, fuck that. They're basically bridge techniquing them. Our old PUBG play, hey, you gotta come here. If you're coming to Old Town, you gotta cross. It's the choke point.
Yeah.
Seems like the Iron Men were pretty much like, nah, we'll fight another battle, and they just basically open the door, let them through.
Fight the people that don't fight back.
Exactly.
Like the porcupine kind of situation, right? You can eat me for dinner, but it's gonna be some work.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So then Sam and Gilly are standing at the prow. They're looking up at 3 castles.
Yep.
Which is
3
one
towers.
house. 3 towers.
Is the name of the castle. Yep. One weird thing when they shoot arrows at the other ship that I have note of is Sam shoots with the rest, which is a thing because he's been learning how to do archery. That's what John's been commanding him. Keep up your archery. And he says that this time his arrow reached the ship. When was last time?
I don't think he just meant this time. I actually think I might have hit something.
I guess, but
the other time. Come on, it's a long voyage. I had to hit something.
Well, that too, yeah.
Yeah, maybe other pirate. We might have heard of pirates or something in the last chapter, but I don't remember.
Pirates over by the stepstones.
The last time we knew he was shooting arrows was up north of the wall.
Yeah, but he says this time my arrow reached the ship. As if last time he was shooting from ship to ship, he didn't even reach the other ship.
True. I'll take it.
It doesn't really matter. Just kind of me being pedantic about the wording.
Just a worthless point that you brought up.
There's 2 or 3 of them, so get ready in this chapter.
Maybe he's just shooting at other boats as they were going by just for the fuck of it.
Yeah.
Because he knew it wasn't going to hit him. That seems like a Sam thing to do. No.
Nerf arrows.
Yeah.
Gilly's looking at castles. Sam's like, wait till you see the other ones. What's the first one? High Tower?
Wait till you see the High Tower.
Yeah.
Which, this is another pedantic point. Gilly's amazed at this castle. She's seen the wall, which is definitely a way bigger construction marvel than a small castle on the coast.
And just a cooler spectacle.
Yeah, but nobody lives in the wall. Yeah.
She saw Castle Black and Eastwatch and Bravos and she's been to a ton of places.
She's had to see shit on the way, right?
That's what I'm saying. She's been to a ton of places. Stuff.
I forgot that Nelson, now you don't think mountains are beautiful anymore, or
No, I do. But this is a castle.
You could still appreciate the beauty in that.
Sure. Don't you think she even saw King's Landing as they
well, no, they were on.
They
crossed over to Bravos and then stayed on. They wanted to stay off the west coast, basically.
Okay, so
so they were on Essos at that time. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. And Sam does say this leads into the next point. He's wait till you see the High Tower, which is bigger than the wall. I think we've heard in the past the High Tower is so tall you can see the wall from the top of the High Tower, which was probably hyperbole.
They do say it here, yeah.
Which is a lie. That's a lie.
Yeah. Probably, yeah, that seems ridiculous, but exactly. The point is it's tall and it's taller than the wall. So, yeah.
Maybe if it's flat, you don't know if they're on a flat Earth or not, or they could be on a disc.
That's true. That could explain the seasons,
if it was
maybe.
set on Earth, you could not see the wolf.
We don't know what's west of Westeros. So
All right, moving on.
Gilly fed the baby because the baby started crying, and Sam's like, "Wow, Gilly loves this baby just as much as her own baby."
Yep.
Probably not true, but she probably does love this baby.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think it's more of like she's kind of changing, right? Like we're seeing some changing characters. Is really what's happening here. I think.
Yep. They see they see a lot of broken ships. Once they're in the Sound, broken ships everywhere, burned villages on the side, burned shorelines. Zondo points out, like, basically, like, there's a battle here recently. And
there's dead bodies floating around. There's just...
Yep.
I think they see the bodies even before they see the ships, but...
What I was getting into was that Sam's like, who could have done this? And Zondo does point to a banner, but Sam's like, I don't know what that is. And Zondo's like, I don't fucking know either. I'm not from here, right? Like, somewhere else. Well, I guess Zondo should know a lot of the houses. He's probably in all these towns, but Sam would also probably know best. He's a bookworm, right? And from here.
Is this a house, though? Or is this like a person?
Red eye with black pupil beneath a black iron crown supported by 2 crows. So then, Jeff, is that a house? I don't know. I was hoping
I don't even care about the family names, let alone their sigil, but...
We've never heard of this one before, but I think we can kind of take a good old college guess at it.
The crow's eye?
We know who's been attacking these people. Yeah, it's the crow's eye.
Yeah.
And this is a red eye, 2 crows,
I did know
crown.
it was Euron. I was being...
To be fair, we don't know, right? I don't think we've seen Euron's banner in a Victarion chapter.
Well, that's why I said, is it a family or is it a person? Like, is this just his banner for his ships type of thing?
Yeah, I think probably Euron, but I don't think we have confirmation, but I think it's a pretty solid guess. Yep. So, next they get boarded. There's some ships come out, a big galley with 2 smaller galleys flanking. Next morning, 2 galleys flanking, and they're basically like, hey, we need to check your holds. They basically say, all right, come aboard. It's kind of tense for a second. There's like arrows pointed at each other, but after they check the holds, the guy's like, hey, sorry, we have to do this. Like, there's been some trickery going on around here recently.
Iron Man had been dressing up as Tyroshi and trying to sneak in the old town and set it afire.
Yep, captured a Tyroshi merchant, and then we hear the Tyroshi always dye their beards crazy.
They just they went too crazy.
Well, they did the same, and they just dressed up, but then some dude just happened, they came across some other ship that happened to be the Lady of the Tower, whose oarsman had a Tyroshi wife, and he's like, starts speaking Tyroshi, and they're like, fuck,
we just said hi in Tyroshi.
And it kind of gave up the play.
Just got to wave back at them at that point.
Yeah.
What they should have done is acted, they're all deaf. Like, sorry, can't hear.
Ship of deaf people.
Like,
yeah.
Well,
sorry.
didn't we already see that, right? We've seen, oh no, they're mutes. That's right.
Euron does that with his people. Yeah, with his own ship. Yep. But so what was the plan here? He does mention that, which I guess they tortured.
Jeff said it. They were going to set fires,
They were
right?
just going to torch Old Town.
Yeah, and then it seems like they were going to torch Old Town and then have like a pretty big attack on Old Town, like with the full fleet
in the chaos.
While the city was putting out the fires. Yeah, just I think.
Why Old Town? Where'd Old Town go? They're not doing anything.
There's money to be had.
World needs plenty of bartenders, but doctors they need the maesters. You kind of need the maesters. Actually, the Ironborn don't believe in the maesters since
some do, some don't. Vic doesn't. The old way does not.
The old way doesn't give a shit.
Just
about
drown them and it'll fix everything.
Yeah, seawater and fire. The old way.
Yeah, if you don't cough up the seawater, you weren't supposed to be there anyway.
You can't make a water chain link, is what you're saying. There's no saltwater chain link.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is interesting though, because like Euron, I don't think plans on conquering Old Town and being like, see ya. Like he sounds like he's conquering everything. So like. Could we see this plan in action somewhere else? Kind of to Jeff's original thing is like, why would you do this to Old Town? Why not like somewhere else? Like, yeah, you could do this anywhere else.
Old Town was in the way.
I mean, I think this is part of the reason the Red Wine fleet's coming back. No, like is like to protect the region.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, obviously it's to protect their house, but I think like that's what you're going to see play out. Is if we wait long enough, we know they're on their way.
I just mean like, what if in winds we hear Highgarden's been taken? Oh, how could Highgarden be taken? They had a pretty good. Well, they snuck in and they set the city to fire, and then they you know what I mean. I feel like this could be foreshadowing to this happening somewhere else.
Okay,
like this plan
it's just a good tactic, right? It's
a good plan. Yeah. Inside Man, great Denzel movie. Totally not related to this, but it's bank robbery.
I was going like it's a inside Trojan horse type of deal, but
yeah, kind of. That's the whole. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Which they did set fire once the Trojan horse got in there. So
there you go, stealing it right from the Iliad. Actually, I don't know if that's in the Iliad.
I don't know.
I don't know where that's from.
What's next?
They're not reaving like they used to, the Ironborn. They're not just kind of coming and picking and leaving. They're setting up shop a little bit more than they used to.
Yep. Sam's like, this is crazy for some raiders. And kind of like we talked about earlier, this isn't raiders. This is hundreds of them. We've never seen this shit before.
Yeah, and they're on conquest mission. We know that.
And why the fuck isn't Lord Hightower doing anything about it? He's just sitting on his hands up there playing Switch 'em.
Same thing we've seen before, right? With other kings or lords in their castles.
Sure, we haven't heard much about this guy though, which is interesting because they say he's as rich as the Lannisters, and he could summon 3 times the men that they need for this fight. They just don't have the ships for it at the moment. Like, so this is like which is funny because he's not a Lord of the Seven Kingdoms. He's kind of like a second in command, right? Like it's kind of like the Manderleys are, I guess, to Winterfell, or like he's second to Highgarden, basically. But very rich, and we just haven't heard anything really about Hightowers at all in the story yet. Except right now we hear about all their sons are doing a ton of shit in this area, which we just haven't been near.
They're local legends, right?
Yeah.
I will say that I don't know how much we can trust his estimate of how many people after knowing kind of how the Dornishev overestimated their numbers, right?
Pumped them up.
But at the same time, if this guy's quiet about it, and I'm only thinking of because what you just said, but if this guy's quiet about all his wealth and whatnot, or like, he's not nearly as famous, maybe this is true, right? He's not bragging about it to everybody to pump his numbers.
Yeah, they're also the ones that can see the wall from the top of their
yeah, he just sees everybody.
Little white lie here and there, never hurt anybody.
Yep, true.
So the Lord has locked himself up in his tower with the Mad Maid, who's actually his daughter. It's his daughter who's like an adult. She's just unmarried, old, and they're reading books of spells. I think this is funny. Like, we heard about it in Duskendale or wherever. Basically, anytime there's like a guy who fucks up or isn't doing what he's supposed to be doing, they just like blame it on the woman. Like, oh, there's the Mad Maid. And again, this isn't even like a sexual relationship. This is like a father-daughter thing. It was like, oh, he's locked up with the Mad Maid. And like somehow it seems like she's like kind of getting the blame for like pulling him into this and why he hasn't done anything. I think we've also heard maybe in the prologue, Kyle. That's also why I wanted you to read the prologue. I haven't since.
I don't remember her being in the prologue.
I don't think her, but didn't we hear that the Lord hasn't been out of the tower in like years?
I think that might be in there. Yeah,
as I mentioned, I think I mentioned something like that.
It either.
Yeah,
sorry.
Oh, you assholes! You were like, he's not going to read this, and then you didn't read it.
Well, we know that we know the main like
points that
are important to bring up again.
No,
but yeah.
I know. Yeah.
So what else is his family doing? The rest of these are his sons, pretty much. I don't know if it's said explicitly, but
I didn't put him in my notes. I don't know.
Well, what they're doing. So what Lord?
What are they doing, Nelson? So what are the sons doing, Nelson?
So he's in the tower. I guess what the next point is, he might not be as crazy as he seems, because like if he's old, then what do you want him to be doing? Like he has his sons out doing stuff. So he has Baelor, his one son, building galleys. We actually have heard of this guy before, but we've heard of him with a nickname.
Baelor Hightower.
Baelor. It's an insulting nickname.
I only know Baelor the Blessed.
Baelor the Small.
Baelor Breakwind.
He farts a lot.
Oberyn was here with Elia at one point, and they were trying to set up marriages, and Oberyn was basically just trying to like make everyone that they were trying to set Elia up with like
bad
names.
Yeah, like mess with them.
Not
basically.
Suitable.
Yeah, I think he farted one time, so Oberyn gave him that name, I think.
Better out than in.
Next son, Gunthor Hightower is charged of the harbor. I think we see him later. He boards the ship later. Garth Hightower is training new recruits, and Humphrey has gone to Lys to hire cell sales.
Is that Lys?
Either.
Yeah, they're doing. I mean, the Hightowers are doing work. I give the old man some credit. He knows how to delegate. Just wants to do it from his bed.
Yeah. The guy who's going to Lys, whichever we want to say, is interesting too, because he says if he can convince his whore of a sister to give him a fleet, then we might be able to pay the Ironmen back with their own coin. Two things here. One, paying the Ironmen back with their own coin, would that be taking the Iron Islands while they're away?
Yeah. I think it's just we're going to fucking ransack them, right? Like they did it to us, so we're going to pay them back with what they did to us.
You mean at the Iron Islands?
All over.
I just think it would mean maybe attack like
everything.
Let's just
all their camps.
Next one we see, we're attacking. Just attack up the.
We're gonna make them pay.
Yep, that isn't weird. But who's his whore of a sister?
Can I read that quote directly? Sure. Just because the way you said it, I didn't quite get it right. So I think it was a little different. If he can winkle a proper fleet out of his whore of a sister, we can start paying back the Ironmen with some of their own coin. So there, I think it means with blood, right? Like that's their coin. The Ironman's coin is blood right now. That's what they're coming to town with.
Gotcha. Sure.
And then, winkle a fleet out of his whore of a sister implies that his sister is somewhere else.
No. Or you're saying...
No, different sister.
This implies that she's in Lys.
Did they ship her off to somewhere else in Essos?
I think we know this. I don't think it's a spoiler. This is Jorah's ex-wife. Jorah Mormont. He had an expensive wife, a Hightower daughter.
I think he did tell us some of this too.
He told us all this. I just don't know if we knew that she ended up in Lys, and I don't know how I know that. So it might be.
It's not.
That's a huge spoiler.
How is that a spoiler?
Well, he's never told me that.
I
so.
think he said. I think Jorah tells her at one point that it's like with a different man. Like she's like, "Where is she now?" And he says something about like with a different man. But I don't know if he. I don't know. Somehow
Maybe
I know.
he
But
doesn't know.
It's Jorah's ex-wife who's now like in lice with seemingly someone who's powerful, seemingly powerful, and has
With
the
ships.
ability to give over some ships. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, fleet. She definitely has a fleet.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
I can't wait for where's Jorah at right now in their storyline. He just got
They just took over Marine.
You had to go through the sewer.
Yes,
Is that the end of that?
pretty much.
Okay.
Yep. So that's what the High Towers are up to.
All right, moving on. So the one thing I just have it as a note: the dude on the Huntress calls Cersei a bitch. They're like,
Yeah.
I can't believe we had to do all this because that bitch queen's not helping us.
Yeah, she hasn't sent the red wine.
So the
fleet back.
people don't like her either.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. He says the bitch queen. Could it be?
Or
Could he be talking about Marjorie?
ooh, no.
Could Cersei be somehow spinning the PR so that it's Marjorie that's not letting the ships out?
Nah, not in this part of the realm.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah. All right. Sam, we had mentioned this earlier, worried about Hornhill being safe, but it is pretty inland, so they'd have to grow legs
That's what Rob thought. And Winterfell's kind of inland too. That's what Sam thinks here.
till Theon the Turncoat got him.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So what am I gonna do with Gilly? Right, so I gotta bring her to Old Town. She'd definitely be safer there. I'd have to hide her though, and at some point I'm gonna have to leave her,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna have to desert the Night's Watch.
Yeah. Old Town's not going to be good because then I'm going to be with her all the time and I'm never going to be able to send her off officially. So, yeah.
Like maybe I'll keep her on the ship, send her back to the Summer Isles, but nah, I guess I'll take her to Hornhill.
Yeah. This ship's about to ride through some fucking Iron Man again. So he's like, yeah, let's not do that. Yeah. Okay. We'll just do the Hornhill.
And it's just more having to go in the ocean again, right? Like there's just inherent danger with being on a boat.
But if Hornhill ends up being dangerous, I'll bring her back to Old Town. We'll cross that bridge later on.
Yep.
Maybe. He doesn't seem like he's going to get to Hornhill anytime soon. I'll say that now. Dude's easily distracted.
Yeah. I'll mention some of that towards the end, but.
Okay.
So we come up to Old Town on a foggy day, and the High Towers now are inspecting the ships at their boom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones word. Gunther hops on. He knows how to speak Summer Isle, so he grabs a little bit of time with Captain.
Well, with who? What do your guys' book say?
Oh, I thought it just said the Captain.
Karulu.
Karulumo.
Kahuromo. Quhuru is Kahuro is the captain. This is Qurulu, which isn't even really that close. There's just a bunch of U's and there's a Q. So it seems like it would be hard to be a typo. But yeah, that's who it is.
Karulumo. It's Karulumo.
Yeah, exactly. Which we've never heard of before, and we never hear how he's related to anybody or what his role here is. But whatever. They go in the it's the captain's cabin, which is another hint that it might be a spoiler, but whatever. They go in, they talk. Sam basically tells Gilly what the deal is. Hey, I'm going to go to the Citadel. I'll come back. Then we're going to go to Old Town. She's like, deal. Kiss him for good luck. He says he'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of important.
Is it?
Yeah, because doesn't he not come back?
Well, it's not tomorrow yet, but we'll come back. We'll get to that later.
Coach is cool with her staying too. She's like, hey, she can stay as long as she wants. She doesn't need as much as you.
Yeah, poke in the belly. And Sam says, hey, I'm not so fat as I was. I've been eating nothing but fruit and fish. And for the first half of the voyage, seems like he was yakking, but coming out more than coming in. So
yeah, and I mean, he did mention his baggy black clothes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I noticed that beforehand. I was going to say something, but then they really called it out, so it didn't seem necessary.
He can't be too thin though, because she's still poking him in the belly.
Yeah,
and he was really fat.
He was really fat. Long way to go.
But they don't know how long they're going to dock for. They're here to sell their stuff. They got some nice books that they have to sell to
his books, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Sam's books. And then once they refill their stores, then they'll be moving on to the next port, as sailors do. But whatever. So Sam starts walking to the Citadel. Hoped he remembered the way. How hard could it be? I know it's a maze. I know they said it's a maze, but no street signs.
It's got to be pretty big too.
It's got to be kind of in the middle, right?
Yeah.
You kind of look up and see. I don't know.
It seems like it'd be one of the biggest buildings around. In Middle Ages, I don't think you're going more than 2 stories, very frequently, right? It's probably just way easier to build out than it is to build
for your
out.
houses in the.
I don't know. We were literally just talking about towers that can see the wall from where they are and stuff. I feel like stuff's tall.
One tower.
not one tower though. Like what if it's a
Well, that one is
Harrenhal is huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Castle Rock. You just were looking at the Boltons thing. That was pretty tall. Like I feel like
that's fake fan fiction.
I feel like these places are probably pretty tall, at least in fantasy, right? Like I understand
the castles. My point is the houses aren't, so it should be easy to see a big castle or a big structure like the Citadel over like normal one level.
I will agree
houses.
that if you're applying like medieval building capabilities, but if you're applying beautiful Game of Thrones like city building, like I don't know, I can't agree 100% with you. Is all I'm saying.
They're not playing Minecraft survival mode; they're in creative mode.
Whatever. We can't get distracted on these type of pedantic, doesn't matter things.
Yeah, hell yeah, we can.
Not on this chapter.
I love it.
I have a feel like
keep
we're
going, buddy. Keep going. Just go now.
End.
Stop yelling about it.
As he's walking through, he realizes that he doesn't know a lot of people. A lot of strangers are looking at him, and he feels uneasy about that. And he definitely didn't want them to recognize him as Randall's son, whether it be a friend of Randall or an enemy, because he'd be fucked either way.
And you love talking about this, Nelson, but not love talking about this. But later on, he like the first thing he does is give this guy his name, like immediately. He's like, "I'm Sam Tarley."
Yeah, he sees Leo Tyrell, who it seems like he recognizes and is not recognized by. And immediately is like, "Hey, I know you." And it's like, "Sam, shut your fucking mouth!" Like.
Exactly. So,
like to be fair, this is like whenever I go back to my hometown, I'm like, I hope I don't see anybody I know. Like, I don't know why. They just like to me, that's a really awkward conversation.
It's not nearly that deep. You could have a quick conversation with.
Hey man, how you doing? Good.
I don't know.
Good.
For me, for some reason, it's weird. I don't really like it.
I live in my hometown. You know how many people I see all the time where it's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And it's like, "Good to see you." And then bam, you just move on.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's weird. So I get Sam here. I feel like I don't know, maybe it's a different reason for Sam. I feel like everyone in the area just knows him and hates him because he's kind of like a minor celebrity, being the Lord's craven son.
They have no photo ID. There's no pictures of this guy around. Nobody knows who Sam is.
Maybe by word.
And he's wearing the black.
Yeah. So he gets the Citadel.
Well, all right. He found a map. There's a lot of novices running around. Some of them are young. At some point, he wants.
Well, the map is actually inside the Citadel. So at the gate of the Citadel, there's two Sphinxes.
I thought the Citadel was like one building. I thought he was still kind of finding his way.
It seems like, like he goes inside. There's like some outdoor market where people are selling stuff and scribes are offering their services. And then there's like, to your point, it seems like the Citadel is a part of the city. It's not a single building, to be fair. Yeah.
It's a compound or a complex.
A campus. Yeah, it's a
campus.
This is like the Vatican of Rome. Old Town is Rome. And then the Citadel is the Vatican City.
Is that a college? I'm thinking more Great Library of Alexandria.
What? The Vatican City is a country inside of Rome.
Yeah, but it's like a religious thing, not a scholarly thing, right?
But it's still a city.
I was just saying, like, how it was something city inside of a city.
Yeah. Oh.
That's literally what you just said.
Gotcha. I was just saying it's more of like a college campus inside a city.
Sure.
Like literally, that's kind of what it is, right? People go and study there and live there, but there's a normal city around it.
Is it its own entity? Like the Vatican City?
Way closer to a fucking college than the Vatican City.
Why? You don't even know what the Vatican City is. You have no idea.
It's where the Pope lives. It's where my Chicago.
You didn't even know it was a country. You didn't even know it was its own country.
To be fair, I knew it. I just when you said it, I was like, "What is this guy talking about?" Like this.
You have no idea. You have no idea.
When you said it, I thought religious, and I'm like, "This isn't a religious institution."
So again. It's a real religious institution. This one's an academic institution, but it's basically its own thing inside of a city, right?
It's like DC.
My example works way better than whatever you were about to say.
Isn't the Vatican City kind of like DC, where it's like its own?
I agree with that.
DC is technically a commonwealth, right? But it's like its own city.
So is Pennsylvania,
but it's not a country.
But it's not in a state.
It's unincorporated.
But I wouldn't say the Citadel is like fucking Washington, D.C., but it is like University of Pennsylvania inside Philadelphia or Drexel.
Why not? Do they answer to Old Town or do they answer to Hightower or do they answer to themselves? Sounds like they answer to themselves pretty much.
That's a fair point.
Good talk.
Again, we're getting off topic on things that don't really matter. But that is a good point.
I'm amped tonight, so it's good. This is good.
I'm not saying you're right about that they don't answer to the high towers. I'm saying I don't know. They might answer to the high towers.
They don't answer to the high towers.
My truthful answer is I think there's like some. If they don't answer, there's like some. They're in bed with each other.
They don't answer to anybody.
Which is why
they're the ones who knock.
The Sphinx is interesting. So at the gate, I mentioned these Sphinxes because Sam doesn't think of it here, but Maester Aemon just told him the Sphinx is the riddle, not the Riddler. And there's two Sphinxes right outside like the gates of the Citadel is what he says, right?
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
One's male, one's a female.
Faces, but their bodies are lion wings of an eagle, and the tail of a serpent.
Okay.
I'm trying to think houses. Lion is Lannister, obviously eagle is Mallister.
So
what you missed in the first chapter, I think, the prologue, was that they talked about Alaris, is that how you say his name?
Mm-hmm.
The Sphinx, right? And they said that he was a Sphinx because Sphinxes are made up of a lot of things. And that was kind of what they go over, is he's like Dornish, and I forget all of them now. But yeah, so I mean, that was kind of a callback to that, I think.
Well, and then we meet him later. I think it's interesting because when he meets Alaris, he's like, some people call me the Sphinx. Sam does, we'll get to, he's like, oh, the Riddler, they're not the Riddler. But I just thought it was kind of weird that Sam sees two Sphinxes entering the Citadel and he doesn't think anything about the Sphinx riddle.
Yeah, I mean, possibly in a grander scheme, is the whole Citadel the Sphinx?
Exactly. That's like, is the Citadel, because the Citadel is like, is it the riddle or the Riddler? Right now, and we'll get to this again at the end, but the Riddler is like something that asks you questions, which again, if we're comparing this to a college, is kind of what the Citadel is. Like it'll riddle you
it to the Vatican
and learn you things, and you'll learn things there. I guess I'll jump to it right now. Marwyn basically says like, "Hey, the Maesters have some ulterior motives," is kind of what he alludes to towards the end. So I guess that could imply that, hey, maybe there's something,
which kind of directly dealt with Aemon too, right? With like it affected Aemon's life in the Citadel rankings too. So
I guess the last point, and we'll talk. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more in a second when we meet the Sphinxes. But if it's the Sphinx, how would Aemon know anything? Aemon is the one that tells Sam this. Aemon would
he
know
doesn't know
of
this kid, right?
He doesn't even know who the Seneschal is right now. Seneschal.
Exactly, but he does know of the Citadel, and Aemon would know that there's two Sphinxes outside.
Would agree.
So
yeah, would agree.
Yeah, just interesting thought.
All right, so we get to the Seneschal's court, and there's a man at a tall desk. He's like, "Hey, I'm here. I got a letter from John. I also have Maester Aemon's body." He's like, "All right, go sit over there. Go wait in the waiting room."
Yep.
Hang on. Do you want me to read the Alaris thing about the Sphinx? I found it just now. It's short.
In the prologue, sure.
It said it had been Lazy Leo who dubbed Alaris the Sphinx. The Sphinx is a bit of this, a bit of that. A human face, the body of a lion, the wings of a hawk. Alaris was the same. His father was a Dornishman, his mother a black-skinned summer islander. His own skin was dark as teak, and like the green marble sphinxes that flanked the Citadel's main gate, Alaris had eyes of onyx.
There you go. And we even get a main gate call out.
Yeah, that was the other part of that. Yeah, exactly. So,
ooh, yeah, I didn't remember that. That's cool. Good callback.
There you go.
Great job. Way to do your job, Kyle.
I know. I got berated a little bit last week for not taking notes on my own predictions, so I figured I'd come through once in a while, you know?
Well, I think I said this before, because I'm always just like listening to a Song of Ice and Fire book on audiobook, like as like when I'm driving to and from work. And I feel like a lot of times I'll listen to a random chapter in like Clash of Kings, and then I'll read a chapter and take notes on it for Feast of Crows and be like, George wrote these 2 days apart. There's a huge connection between the two. And I feel like there's like, you can read, like you just roll a dice and pick a random chapter, read them back to back and be like, holy shit. Even if they don't seem related at all. I think like one of them, like
I bet if I did that 10 times, I wouldn't find a connection.
Well, that's because you're an idiot. But I think a big example of that with is if you get really lucky, you land on the prologue and Sam of this book, and it's like, wow, everything is like.
What are the odds?
Yeah,
give me a permutation.
Moving on.
All right, so he also tells him like, hey, yeah, I hope to become a novice here. I need to get back to the wall. I don't know if he tells him that, but
there is a weird 2 lines right before he enters the court where he's like, he saw somebody getting put in the stockades and other people getting ready to throw food at him, and the guy was getting put in the stockades for stealing food. I'm like, that is a weird 2 lines. Like,
I didn't even notice that.
Just seemed completely out of place. Do you know what I'm talking about, Kyle? Do you see it?
Yeah. Outside the Seneschal's court.
Game of Thrones word.
The rectors were locking an older novice into the stocks, stealing food from the kitchens, one explained to the acolytes who were waiting to pelt the captive with rotting vegetables. They all gave Sam curious looks as he strode past. Yeah, that was it.
Hit him with fruit. We've thrown a fair amount of fruit in our day.
Well, and that was a big thing about the first chapter. So maybe that's what it's kind of calling back to, is like he was like, are you a thief? Are you a thief? Kind of thing. That was like the Pate's kind of inner argument. So like maybe it's kind of like the thief callback, kind of just in that sense.
Because Pate had to steal a coin, right? Or no, steal a key.
A dragon? Yeah.
Yeah, he had to steal everything pretty much from the.
No, he had to steal something to trade it for
the key.
A key to trade it for a dragon.
For a dragon, right?
I'm pretty sure he was stealing the money as well, though. Like I think he was stealing the money to build up his own pile.
Oh, from the old maester that shits himself.
Yeah, because he needed gold, and so beforehand he was like gathering money and stuff. So I think he was still. It kind of felt like he might have been stealing ahead of time, but this was like the big thing.
Yeah,
was the key.
Yeah. So he had to sit on the bench, sat for a while, sat long enough. He ended up falling asleep. And then at some point he thought his name was called, but he wasn't. And the voice behind him was like, yo, got to go give Lorcas some money. He doesn't like novices because, I don't know, I guess he never found his way out of being a novice. They put him on desk duty.
Well, he's been an acolyte for 50 years.
What's the difference between novice and what's the difference? Like they just can't.
Seems like novice is freshman / sophomore. Acolyte is like junior, senior, and maester is graduate.
Yeah, and how long has he been a senior? 50 years. He's been a senior.
I think that might be an oversimplification. I think the acolyte is just the steps before becoming full blown maester. So like you just
like, does he have a link?
Nelson didn't get your PhD, right? Like you started and like you're working on it.
Sure, I could be an acolyte. Yeah, maybe acolyte is undergraduate degree, no graduate degree. Yeah.
Novice is bachelor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're no full blown. Like I don't think you're an idiot if you're an acolyte.
That's
a novice, or that's an acolyte. You're saying.
Yeah, acolyte.
But you're working towards your grad degree, kind of.
Yes.
Middle management, right? Like nobody respects you. The maesters look down on you.
That's probably a better comparison. Yeah. Pal.
Like, has he not figured out how to get a ring yet? He has like no chance of getting a ring. Like, is one ring, are you a maester? Or
we don't know enough. He probably has a few links, but we don't know what it technically takes to go from novice to acolyte to maester. But yeah, he doesn't. Whatever it is, he hasn't been able to do it.
Can't pass the test.
The person who told him this was Alaris, also an acolyte known as the Sphinx.
Yep.
And Sam thought, bam, the riddle, which we've brought up a couple times. Was it the riddle or the Riddler?
He doesn't really react to that, right? Alaris doesn't.
No, he brings it right up.
Oh, well, hang on, before we get there, the first thing he does, he goes, "How can you tell?" He's like, says something about like noble birth. He's like, "How can you tell him of noble birth?" But the first thing he said to this dude is, "I'm Samwell Tarley."
Yeah,
like shouldn't that name like
for sure? Yes, they're in the Riverlands, or they're in the Reach. Everyone
so like this guy definitely knows who that is. So like I don't know. It's just really funny to
Alaris, you're saying, or the Tyrell guy later.
Both of them. I feel like both of them would know that name.
Does he tell Alaris that he's Sam Tarley?
No. He told the guy that the acolyte that was taking the notes.
Well, that's different. That's not who asked him. How do you know I'm highborn?
Okay, I guess that's fair.
That's how that guy knows he's highborn.
That's why Lorcas was pissed off.
Yes.
Right? Lorcas was like, all right, fuck this Tarley kid. But then the Sphinx was like, hey, like because you're highborn, he's really taking it out on you.
Yeah. Sam's like, how do you know I'm highborn? And then he answers with like a Dornish, like he emphasizes his Dornish accent. He's like, the same way you know I'm Dornish. I don't know what Dornish accent is, but exactly. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, you got to pay this guy a penny. Like we said, he hates novices, especially highborn ones. So pay him a penny.
Yeah. But he does kind of go off on the Riddler right here with the Sphinx's riddle, not the riddle. He blurted out, do you know what that means? Like he asked the Sphinx right away.
Yeah. And the Sphinx is like, is it a riddle?
Is that a riddle? I guess, kind of.
Is it a riddle? And Sam's like,
but then he does say, I wish I knew I'm Samwell Tarley. So he does kind of tell him.
Yep.
Yeah, but that was after the question. So that negated my point.
Yeah. So then we get into the talk of like who actually is the Seneschal at this point.
Yep.
It's not who Maester Aemon thought it was.
Norrin.
Yep. Instead, it's Theobald,
who, fuck that guy.
We hear they re-pick the Seneschal by lots at once a year. So I guess Seneschal is kind of just like when you come and you like if you're an outsider and you have something to talk to the Citadel about, he's the guy. He's like the secretary, I guess, that you got to go and talk to because they say no one really wants this job. It really just takes them away from their studies. Like they're trying to do research on something and it just like now they got to do this other bullshit for a year, right? So it seems like no one really wants to do it, but basically Walgrave was picked, and I'm sure Kyle could tell us a little bit more about Walgrave, but we know because I'm pretty sure he's mentioned a bunch in the prologue, but I think he's basically like dementia basically shits himself sometimes. I think Pate's in charge of taking care of him, and he basically won. He's supposed to be the figurehead, but they're like, nah, this guy, he can't do it. So this other guy, Theobald, stepped up and was like, all right, I'll do it in his place.
Yep.
So the Seneschal is a medieval administrator or judicial officer, often a steward in a noble household or a royal officer responsible for justice. So I think it's like just the like you said, kind of
an advisor,
the receptionist,
right?
an advisor for the Citadel, point of contact for the public or whatever.
Yeah, I think point of contact is probably the best way.
So Walgrave, for sure. It was pretty much that's what happened to Pate, right? He thought, oh, hey, I'll go he was failing all his rings. And then he was like, oh, I'll go gain some favor with one of these maesters and pretty much intern. And he's like, oh, I'll do the Ravens guy because he's pretty awesome and respected. And then he gets there and finds out that he's been stripped of his maesterhood already. And like, it's just kind of like they let him do it because that's just what he does anyway. Kind of thing, and Like, yeah, he's losing his mind. Is really what it comes down to.
Somebody's got to change the chamber pot.
Yeah, that was, I don't know if that was here or not, but yeah, some days they were like saying that when he had to help him get dressed, and some days his underclothes were all soiled and stuff. Like, yeah, he's in a bad spot, this dude.
Yeah.
Alaris was taken aback by the name Aemon, all fired up about the last Targaryen. And
Sam's like, how'd you know this guy? And Larry's like, how would I not know this guy? Oldest maester for sure. Maybe the oldest person, period, in Westeros.
Yeah. How old was he?
Seems like 102.
102.
What a life.
Old man. What was he doing at sea at such an old age?
Sam chewed on the question for a moment, wondering how much he ought to say. The Sphinx is the riddle, not the Riddler. Could Maester Aemon have meant this Sphinx? It seemed unlikely.
Lord Commander Snow sent him away to save his life,
He began, hesitantly. He spoke awkwardly of King Stannis and Melisandre of Ashai, intending to stop at that, but one thing led to another, and he found himself speaking of Mance Rayder and his wildlings, King's blood and dragons, and before he knew it was happening, all the rest came spilling out. The whites at the fist of the first men, the other on his dead horse, the murder of the old bear at Craster's Keep, Gilly and their flight, White Tree and Small Paul, Cold Hands and the Ravens, Jon's becoming Lord Commander, the Blackbird, Daeron, Bravos, the dragon Zondo saw in Karth, the Cinnamon Wind, and all that Maester Aemon whispered toward the end. He held back only the secrets that he was sworn to keep, about Bran Stark and his companions and the babes Jon Snow had swapped.
Daenerys is our only hope,
He concluded.
Aemon said the Citadel must send her a maester at once to bring her home to Westeros before it is too late.
I mean, how about Sam just not keeping a lock on anything? Just telling anybody. Like, you just met this person.
I was going to say the opposite. I love that he keeps a lock on Bran. That he's like spilling
That's
everything and he still remembers his random promise to this kid that went through the wall.
How about the fact that Aemon's like, well, no, we need to pretty much overthrow the government here. We need to commit treason and go help Dany come over here. That's crazy talk.
How is that committing treason, as far as Sam's aware?
What do you think it means? We need to go send a maester to Daenerys Targaryen.
Oh, I see what you're saying. We need to support someone that's not our current.
Get her
to
back
help
here.
her do
Yeah.
what? What are we doing? Why would she need a maester? To commit treason and to take over the throne. The fuck are you talking about?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I got you. That makes sense. Yeah.
You don't know who you're talking to. You might be talking to a Lannister loyalist right now.
Well, yeah, and to your point, everyone should be Lannister loyalists, technically. Like, well, yeah, Lannister loyalists because they're in charge.
If you're not, you're a treasoner.
Exactly. Yeah. Got
And he's just out there spewing Targaryen love.
I think Aemon. You're right. It's
Which I'm not opposed
There's
to.
no way this makes sense, but I think Aemon's thought is more like we need her because she's the fulfillment of this prophecy, who's gonna stop the others or whatever. Not necessarily. I want her
Sure.
over here to be queen. But you're right.
But-
I don't see
but
how
what is
they're
the-
very closely tied.
Nobody's thinking about the prophecy of
The whole point of her
fighting
coming
the
back,
others.
yeah.
They're going to be like, oh, we're bringing
Yes.
Daenerys over. What is Cersei going to think? Oh, the Maesters are sending Dany over here not to fight the prophecy, to kick me off the throne. That's what.
Yeah, you're super right.
Beautiful young queen, right? Isn't that what she's afraid of? The beautiful young queen?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, another one. Fuck.
Yeah.
So Alaris listened, and it's like, after all of it, she said, don't waste your time on Theobald. He won't believe anything you're saying, but I'm going to take you to somebody that will. And they went to the Isle of Ravens.
Isle of Ravens. Yep.
Once in that castle.
Also known as
Yeah.
Baltimore.
The Isle of Is Baltimore's not a raven?
Baltimore.
Or Baltimore's not an island.
I know, that was the joke. That was just a joke, Nelson, you idiot.
So this is an island. They go there. It's Alaris tells Sam it's the oldest.
Is this its own castle? This is its own
it's
building?
a castle. It's a little castle.
So is this in Old Town or is this in the Citadel? Is it?
Is this like high school?
This is
or
a cat. Yeah.
Huh?
Is this like the
this is
YMCA,
just
the
one
local
campus
YMCA
building.
kind
This
of?
is the rookery. This
I'm
is like
sorry.
the big rookery. You guys are trying to make fun of my college analogy. I think I'm trying to think of a way that it'll
It's a
fit.
local
like
library.
It's like the admin building, kind of. Something like that. The bookstores here.
I love it. All right. Yeah, student union.
So they get there. It's old. This is like the oldest place. Does she say? Does Alaris say in Old Town? The other thing I think they
Oldest
mentioned
building at the Citadel, he says. So
at the
before we get, I was excited when I read the prologue. I'm like, oh, I bet so much stuff is going to happen at this Quill and Tankard or whatever that is. And nothing. We don't even hear about that.
No, we
place.
don't go back there.
I know. I thought that was what you were like prepping me for. That was what was kind of funny. I forgot to say that earlier. But yeah, no, this is the oldest place in the Citadel, is what he says.
Yeah, and it was originally the den of like some pirate lord who would basically, because it's right on the Honeywine River, and he would pirate ships coming down the river out into the sea. So that's where it started. What I think is cool is they mentioned there's this big weirwood tree in like the yard of this castle, and it's ancient. There's a I forget what line it is, and I don't have it in my notes, but there's a line that implies the weirwood was here before the castle.
An ancient weirwood filled the yard, as it had since these stones had first been raised.
There you go.
Yeah, they built the castle around it. Yeah,
which we've heard is what happened at Winterfell. Like Winterfell was built around the Winterfell weirwood, so that's kind of what
Pretty
perked
cool.
my eyes up about that.
Did Theon break the Winterfell weirwood?
No.
Do we know that? No. Okay, go ahead.
The other thing that is weird about the weirwood is it's like half dead.
Yeah.
Like the face is covered with moss, so you can't even really see the face, purple moss, and there's like moss hanging from all these dead branches.
But some branches have red leaves coming out of it.
Yeah, and that's where the ravens like to chill out, near the red leaves. So, yep, cool.
You're not going to chill out on the leaveless branches. It's common bird sense.
They chill on phone lines and stuff, power lines.
Nah.
They chill on dead trees sometimes too, but I think this is more symbolic than that, right? Like
Yeah.
there's
So he tells him Walgrave lives in this tower, this west one over here. Sam thinks, oh, we're going to see Walgrave? Like, is he going to understand what I had to say? He's just losing
you just told
his
me
mind.
that guy was an idiot. Yeah.
He's like, don't worry, we're not going to see him.
Yep.
He has his good days and his bad, but that's not who we're going to see. And they go into the North Tower.
Yep. On the walk up, they see another blonde boy staring into a candle.
This is interesting. He's staring into a candle.
Why
is he sitting outside Marwyn's room staring into a candle?
I read a book once about Shoeless Joe Jackson. If you guys know who that was, baseball player. 8 men out, got kicked out for quote unquote cheating in the World Series.
What's that? Steroids?
No. They were like the first team in
Spoilers.
1919 that gambled the World Series away. They kind of threw, but
Dang.
he batted like 500, so I don't believe that he threw the World Series.
on it. Yeah.
But in the book, which is like a childhood book, it's complete fiction, but he stared into a candle at night, and in the book it was to sharpen his eyesight for hitting the baseball. So
Gotcha. That is interesting.
It was probably actually making him blind.
yeah, I don't know.
I stare at the sun for an hour every day so I can see better. No, I don't.
Shoeless Joe and Me. If you guys are
Okay.
looking for a good kid book, it was a great series back in the day.
Do you think that's why Leo is doing it?
This is
No, I think he's the fire god guy. He's trying to see messages from R'hllor.
yeah, for sure.
I just think it's interesting what happens in the rest of the chapter.
Yeah.
This guy basically says he does have a candle inside. Not the same type of candle, clearly, but he's got a candle that is...
The whole prologue is about these obsidian candles. So yeah, for sure that's
Do
but
you
I
practice
think this
by
is
looking
still
at a normal candle?
I mean, but we've seen other people looking at normal candles and at least saying they get visions out of them. So I don't see why this is that far.
What do you mean by that? Because what you just read in the prologue isn't the whole point of the candles in the prologue basically saying like the maesters basically make you try and fuck with this candle and do magic with it and to prove that it's impossible?
Yeah, nobody can get at the light.
Yes, but this mad mage was like one of the few that claimed that it could be lit, right? Like, so I mean, like there are maesters that claim that it could be lit.
Wait, what do you mean that you said the Mad Maid? That's the daughter.
Mad Mage, the wizard, whatever this guy's name is that they're
They
going
call
to
him the Mage.
Mad Marwyn or something. Mage Marwyn.
Just the mage. Marwyn.
Okay. Sorry.
Just clarifying because there is the Mad Maid in the tower.
Yeah. You said that earlier, and I was like, oh, I thought it was the Mad Mage. So yeah. Anyway, exactly though. It's like I mean, we've seen people look in fire for prophecy though. I don't think that's that far fetched.
The R'hllor people, yeah. I mean, like I said,
And they're
maybe
around
this guy
too.
is a fire god guy, but
I think we just don't know enough. Like, is Marwyn like not cool with Leo? And he's like, no, you're not allowed in my room. Like, you're not on the in crowd. So Leo's like, but he knows that they're in there, like seeing shit in a candle. So he's like outside trying to see shit in his own candle.
That's
like,
not how I see this.
I don't see
I
this.
think he's part of the crew. I think he's part of this group and like is just also looking for the future at his own. Like they're all studying to try and be the mage, right? Like that's their end goal.
Sure, but they don't really like Leo, right? Like when he shows up at the Quill and Tango, they're like kind of like, fuck, this guy's here.
Oh
again,
yeah,
right?
they don't like him, but he has a big name, right? Like he's a Tyrell, so like I don't see why the mage wouldn't like him, right?
Sure. I mean,
I didn't recall that he wasn't liked in the prologue.
He's like the bully.
Yeah, they did not like him, Joe.
But he shows up and they tell him to kind of fuck off, right?
Oh yeah, and they all peace out as soon as she shows up.
And he's making fun of Pate, calling him the pig boy. He's like, oh, pig boy,
Yeah.
pig boy,
Yeah,
pig boy.
yeah.
And Pate hates it.
And Pate, we know Pate is inside the room with the glass candle right now, right?
We learned that at the very end.
And
yes.
so they go inside and Leo has to stay outside. I do think that Leo, now that I know the prologue, or I don't think he's part of the crew. I would say he's not in the crew.
I think it's unclear. Kyle could be right. He could be allowed in if he wanted to. I think it's very interesting why he's outside staring at a candle when there clearly is something going on inside.
Maybe the crew was being like, yeah, you saw something in the candle, and he's looking at an actual candle because he doesn't know that the glass candle's lit inside. Would be my guess.
I don't know, though. In the prologue, he was pretty adamant about he was the one that was like, oh, those candles can be lit, and like,
oh, okay.
The mage.
I thought he was kind of making fun of the mage, being like, he's a fucking crazy fucker. You guys don't want to hang out with him. Was kind of, again, I might be totally wrong. It's been a long time since I read it, but that was kind of me remembering the Leo from prologue, but that might be wrong.
All right. Let's move on.
Anything here really? We kind of said most of this before.
Sam recognizes him as Leo Tyrell, and he's like, "Oh shit, you are Samwell Tarly. You're not as. Are you still as cowardly as you were back then? You craven?
Still a pussy?" Basically, it was like a crazy greeting. Like, "Hey, good to see you. Still pussies?" Like, dude, what?
No, I actually am the Slayer, and I kill everything in my path. So back the fuck up.
You're wrong," said Leo. "There's a glass candle burning in the mage's chambers." This is when he like first shows up at the table with them.
Cool.
So he says there's no proof of dragons other than Molander, just sailor stories, and he says you're wrong. There's a glass candle burning. So like he knows about this.
He's first guy. He's first guy in.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So that's I might maybe I had that advantage of the prologue. Sorry,
what
were you just talking about?
That's a great call.
Yeah,
we didn't really say much. We just said how Leo talks shit on Sam when Sam shows up.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's really his favorite thing to do. Yeah, he's an asshole.
Nelson will edit that all out, and then he'll be like, "Yeah, so I know that Leo's the one in there."
No, I won't.
The glass.
That's why we had Kyle read the prologue, so he can be kind of the Nelson for part of this chapter, with remembering the fresh quotes.
What I would say here, though, is that the way that the Archmaester just shows up and he's like, "Yeah, you in, like, leave that fucker out here," kind of leads some credence to your stories. I don't know.
I think that's what I was gonna say next. Is when Marwyn shows up, is he's like, "Slayer, get in here, and you, Sphinx, now."
Oh, does he say the Sphinx? Oh, and the Sphinx. Yeah. Not the other guy, not Leo.
Not Leo. Yeah.
Leo, fuck off.
Yep.
Look at the candle.
So then they're inside with the mage.
Yeah, so describe the room. It's kind of messy, shit everywhere, scrolls everywhere, glass candle lit in the middle. But he doesn't know it's a glass candle yet. He's like, wow, that's a fucking cool thing that's spewing out sweet colors.
How about Marwyn, even before the room, Marwyn? So he's a maester, he had a chain, but that's the only thing about him that looked maesterly. He looked like he's like a dockside fighter, right? Then more than a...
Little Belwas.
Yeah, exactly. And again, Marwyn's a top 5, right? I mean, he's on screen for 2 pages, but like he's a top
right
5
there, top 5 character.
He's so intriguing. It's like, come on, George, so give me more than 2 pages of this guy.
Wild,
this guy.
Wild.
I think the intrigue I could give you a little bit of, but to put him at top 5 is a low bar. I think, like for you, like your top 5's weird.
I guess before we get into this, we've heard of Marwyn before. Jeff, we'll give Kyle a shot for it first. You remember we've heard of him. Two characters we know have studied with Marwyn before.
The prologue.
Besides anybody in the prologue.
I mean, I'm sure Eamon probably did.
Or Eamon.
How are you going to say or Eamon?
Miri Mazdor.
Okay. I feel like you did mention that one before.
Learned, I think, English from Marwyn and probably studied other things, but I think that's kind of, or common, whatever. And super interesting, Jeff, who's the other one that we know. Is kind of friends with Marwyn.
Is it
Ferris?
Yeah, I was going to say, is it Ferris?
No, it's close.
Littlefinger.
Qyburn. Got kicked out of the Citadel, and basically he's like, none of the maesters really vibed with anything I was saying, except Marwyn. He was cool.
He wanted to do some cool shit.
He hates the gray rats like I do. Not that again. That's paraphrasing.
I thought they were the sheeps. Don't they call them the sheeps?
The gray sheep or the gray, something like that. Whatever.
It's still it's funny that I guess like so we've seen what he's been doing with Cersei, Qyburn that is, and like how horrible this dude seems to be.
Both of them, Miri Mazdor and Marwyn, I would say, are kind of.
I don't know that Miri Mazdor did anything wrong.
Yeah, I'm with you. She's actually the good guy. Is
she a villain or?
She's the good guy of the whole series. Like she did nothing wrong. That speech she gives to Dany, where it's like, "This is what life is worth when everything else is gone. When Drogo is like a vegetable." That is just fire. She is so right. Like fuck you. You gave me. You saved me from. I mean, she did save her from.
Yeah,
torment.
There's a little fucked up there, I guess. Like she didn't tell her the full scale of that, but I mean, I think in general, right? Like her village got burned, she was getting raped, and like she was in a horrible spot there.
I'm Team Miri Mazdor.
Okay,
and I kind of like Qyburn too, but it's harder to.
I mean, Qyburn seems like he's doing some awful stuff.
Yeah,
but he's
cool.
like, yeah, that was my best bud back there.
Actually, I could use more women if you could send them down.
Yeah.
It's hard to go to bat for that one.
You would.
I would not. But whatever he's doing is interesting.
Top 5.
He's actually the top character in the book for Nelson.
So, yeah, we see Marwyn. He goes in, like Jeff said, crazy place, kind of like a wizard's tower, right? Like books everywhere, scrolls everywhere, crowded. We got a burning kettle in the corner. There's a kettle on the fire that's burning, and we got this.
Whatever was in it's not any good. You're not eating that shit. I'll tell you that.
Yep. It was a glass candle. The candle itself was 3 feet tall and slender as a sword, ridged and twisted, glittering black. Then there's another man in the room. Again, we don't hear who this is, but it's Pate. He says it's obsidian.
Marwyn says it's dragon glass.
It burns, but is not consumed.
They do say both of those things in the prologue. Somebody does say it's dragon glass as well there. What was interesting is that there's 4 of these candles in the Citadel.
That is interesting.
One of them is green, I think.
They're not all black. Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there's 3 black ones, and we only see this one.
That's like how real obsidian is in the real world, right?
It's either black or green.
Well, it's. I guess I think it can be purple too. Like it's not all black. It can be like slight color, but I think they're all like pretty dark.
I've
shades.
only seen black. Like wilderness people chipping off black obsidian, and like kind of has purplish hue to it, like when it gets thinner. But I don't know if I would call it purple.
I think that's fair, like an oil slick or coal kind of, right? Like has kind of that sheen. So yeah, that's fair.
And I don't know if we talked about this at all in the prologue, but they called obsidian and dragon glass, which like there's other things like that we know of that are obsidian and dragon glass. I guess my question is it a square rectangle rule or a square rule? Is all dragon glass a glass candle, or is all...
Yeah, I think obsidian's, it's just a nickname.
All glass candles are made of obsidian, but not all pieces of obsidian are a glass candle?
Yes.
No, I think all obsidian is dragon glass, and dragon glass is obsidian.
Sure,
yes.
But can they do whatever magic is being done with this thing in here? Can that be done with the fucking dagger in John's pocket up north?
I don't think so. I think you need to sculpt a glass candle out of dragon glass would be my...
I mean, but isn't a dagger kind of shaped like a candle?
This is tall, right? The candle itself is 3 feet tall and slender as a sword.
No, I'm just being serious. So like it's slender as a sword. There you go. I mean, like
I don't think it's clear. Again, I don't know that we're getting to the end of the books. I guess fans don't like it always, but I tell you how I don't know the answer to this one.
So hang on to Nelson's thing here. Yeah, let's keep going here. So on Nelson's thing, there is talk of a flaming sword as well.
True.
And then there's the talk of how Stannis' sword is bullshit flaming sword.
True.
So why not this dragon glass sword that cannot be consumed by the fire?
A dragon glass sword is actual Lightbringer.
But is there heat in this glass candle? Like,
Good question.
because that was something that Eamon said. So
That's
like,
the big thing that Eamon said. That's a great question.
What did Eamon say?
what he knew it was a fake sword that Stannis had because there was no heat.
Because it was hot.
Light without heat is bullshit. Basically, paraphrasing again.
I'll say this: if you know how to light the glass candle, maybe you can light any dragon glass. But this is the first cat that we've known to be able to light it. So
We don't even know who lit it though.
Yeah, I'm gonna defer to Kyle on this one because I know there's a big quote in the prologue about like acolytes are supposed to spend their final night overnight with a glass candle, and some of them cut their fingers, but nobody lights it.
Yeah, the point
right?
is to show you kind of that it's futile, right? Like there's some stuff that knowledge can't overcome.
Yeah, there's some things that's always gonna be unknowable.
And like it's sharp, it can cut you, like if you use it wrong, kind of thing. Yeah, so that's a lot of what it is there, Nelson. That's a paraphrase I was looking for, but I think that fills it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, dragon glass. Pate said small folk call it dragon glass. Somehow that seemed important. So that's from the prologue as well.
So what I have next is Sam's like, what feeds the flame then? If it burns, is not consumed. And Marwyn's like, what feeds a dragon's fire? First off, I would say whatever it eats, right? Just again, if dragons were real animals, like if I spit, what feeds that spit? Technically, whatever I eat, right? I'm eating calories. My body's doing some magic
calories.
and generating saliva from that. So it's whatever I eat. So the answer to Marwyn's question is whatever the dragon eats, probably. But I understand what he's getting at. Again, don't need to linger on that point. Probably shouldn't have even said
Spit's a little different than a fire, I think,
It's
right?
not,
Yeah.
though. It just comes from something. It's matter coming out of your body. It got generated from your body
Fire
doing some
doesn't
shit from what you put in.
though. Like you can't just eject fire from your body.
Fire being matter, I don't know about that. Again, we're getting into tricky science. Moving on.
Yep.
What he says, expanding on that, is all Valyrian sorcery was rooted in blood or fire. It's actually a travesty. I'm not doing a Marwyn voice. Let me start over. All Valyrian sorcery was rooted in blood or fire. The sorcerers of the Freehold could see across mountains, seas, and deserts with one of these glass candles. They could enter a man's dreams and give him visions, and speak to one another half a world apart, seated before their candles. Do you think that might be useful, Slayer? So, this is kind of where
I
he
was
basically
getting ready
says,
for you to snap into your Sam voice there because
I don't have what's next. But this is basically where he tells us what they can do. So Kyle, like,
They're
Jeff, what do you
intense, man.
Jeff, what do you think about this?
I think me and you have had this conversation before. I don't know if that's what you want me to say.
Yeah.
I didn't want to
No.
give you, don't spoil anything, but I feel like I know your main vibe about glass candles is,
I think it's too strong of a thing.
I think you've said before many times in spoiler sections, I don't like the idea that there could be like 4 people sitting around in a tower somewhere that have these things that we find out is they're running.
Like,
this
I
entire
think the
book
one
series.
part is cool that I don't know if I comprehended the first time reading it, that like it's a way that like, all right, me and you are across the world, right? But I could just hop into your dream and we can actually just have a conversation, and like, you know, that when you wake up, like it's not a dream, like we are actually conversating. Like that's something that I didn't really think about. But like the other thing of just like going into a dream and like affecting it, and like I think it's just too strong of a weapon.
Little OP. And you nerf that.
We're playing with Inception, right? Like, and we had the Inception talk.
So it's one of those things where probably every dream we've ever seen in the books, in the spoiler section, I'm like, ooh, Jeff, could this be from a, and you're probably most of the time Jeff's like, shut the fuck up, Nelson. But like, I guess to Kyle, I just like telling you, like, that's one of those things.
Shut the fuck up, Nelson.
That's why like spoiler sections can happen and one thing actually I'll mention, because I think Jeff even highlighted it in the spoiler section for the last chapter, the Jamie one. Jamie has a weird dream in his last chapter, right, where he's in the sept, and there's some parallels to what actually happened in real life, where he thinks
Oh
it's
yeah,
Cersei,
with
right?
the Cersei, yeah, and it's his mom.
And then it's his mom, exactly. And Jeff was like, Kyle called that a vision.
Yeah.
In the non-spoiler, you said Jamie goes to sleep and has a vision, and Jeff like pointed out in the non-spoiler, was like, why did Kyle call that a vision and not a dream? And I was like, what do you mean, Jeff? Do you think Kyle thinks that was being sent by someone? And Jeff was basically like, I don't know why he would at this point, but not like a chapter later, like, yeah, like maybe like that.
Yeah, there was not a
Yeah, I'm not trying
deliberate.
to, I don't think
I
you're
wasn't
gonna remember.
deliberately putting it to this. Yeah,
It was just it was an interesting conversation.
But that's a great example of those types of things. Could somebody have sent that to Jamie? Like, you know what I mean? Could Jamie not be?
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
like I'll just say a little bit more. Like, we know that Bran's dreams were obviously, you know, puppeteered by something, right? That's got him through this whole deal.
Or he was puppeting something else. Yeah.
well, like, yeah, I don't know if we know that, but it seems like that, right? Like, Jojen's getting, like, I don't know if it was Bran at first. I think Bran has had some, but the one I remember is Jojen got a dream that the sea was going to come to Winterfell, right? And then the Ironborn came. I would agree with you. It seems like that's coming from someone. Do we know where that would be coming from at this point?
Right.
No, but like, to me, that's clearly like, okay, someone's probably got a glass candle somewhere looking out for those boys, right? So, but
Yeah.
do we know?
So then, like, if you have this glass candle, can you architect a whole dream? Like let's just say, for shits and giggles, that Jamie's dream was architected by Marwyn. Marwyn wanted to fuck with Jamie, so he sent him, like, let me draw up this dream of his mom at this place with his dead dad and yada yada. Or like, if you have a glass candle, can you only visit a dream? Are you only like kind of popping in? You could have a conversation and talk. Like, those are two really different things. Like,
it sounds like they can plant like entire ideas
like, if
in
you
there.
can go full Inception mode, that's a lot different than like me just popping in and be like, hey, Nels, you're asleep right now. By the way, wanted to tell you the kids are doing great.
That line reads, they could enter a man's dreams and give him visions.
Well, time out though, because you guys are Jeff, or I feel like you guys just had a tiny argument of completely giving someone an entire vision, controlling the what the vision is 100% is different than inceptioning someone.
No, I don't think that's true.
But in Inception, in the movie, they enter the person's dream. It's still mostly that person.
Well, it's
right? I think
somebody's dream.
the architect is architecting the surroundings, but the person is filling it with all the people. That's their subconscious, right? That's what will attack you.
Right.
So even in Inception, when they're planning ideas in someone's mind, they are kind of still entering that person's dream anyway.
Sure.
Right. So I don't think it has to be one or the other. It doesn't really matter. The point is you can fucking influence someone else without them knowing. Again, without going too far down this rabbit hole, the other thing about Bran and Jojen that's weird is, to me, Jamie doesn't seem magical. But I wouldn't put it past. I wouldn't be surprised if we find out in the future someone is fucking with his dreams, because he's had a few weird dreams. Bran and Jojen, on the other hand, seem like they have a little bit of oomph to them. So like, are they getting their dreams fucked with, or are they tapping into something because they have some magic to them? You know what I mean?
I'd give them a tap in. They seem like they're definitely on a different plane.
I wish Winds of Winter would come out. That'd be really cool. But
And give us no answers.
But yeah, let's go. Moving
and
on.
just open more questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an interesting idea, right? And I didn't really even think of it that far in terms of like But you're right, because the prologue of this one happens before, but not far before, right? Everything?
A couple months.
It's unclear. I would say a couple months. I mean, the
Timeline
Ironborn
doesn't
weren't
matter.
attacking the whole coast.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that's what I meant, though. Like, the prologue is when, I guess. I thought it was before the first books, but I guess I'm wrong.
The prologue's before the first books.
Yeah.
The prologue of this book?
Yeah, I mean, that's possible. Why couldn't it have been? Why couldn't it have been set 100 years in the past?
Oh.
I mean, because Alaris was alive.
I'm not saying it was.
Because Leo and Alaris and everybody is still alive.
Yeah, I get it. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, for the sake of continuity in book writing, you could write that prologue 100 years in the past to set up the book still.
Yeah, I would say it was probably beginning of the book.
So you think it was pretty close to that?
3 months ago is what my timeline has.
Okay,
yeah,
that's fair. But yeah, exactly. So, I mean, at the same time, though, like, I don't think this Dragonglass thing was burning this long then. That's the other side of it, right?
Well,
like, so
you just told us Leo said it was.
I know, but 3 months is a lot shorter than Bran getting these visions of the wolf last year.
Time out. I need you to clarify what you just said. You said, I don't think the glass candle's been burning this whole time.
Since
I
thought you meant since
from
the
Game of
prologue.
Thrones.
Okay,
I meant
okay.
since Game of Thrones.
Gotcha. I thought you meant since the prologue. You meant since Game of Thrones.
No, it has been burning since the prologue,
Yep.
but we've been reading these books longer than the prologue.
I think this is a great point.
And that's kind of what I was getting at. It's like, I thought the prologue was set at the beginning, so then it has been burning the entire time we've been reading this, right?
I feel like there's definitely points like they talk about the dragons being mentioned, so like that you can place it after the end of Game of Thrones at least.
Yeah.
It seems like
You're
to
right.
me it's clear. It's pretty
I
clear.
also
But
don't like-
Hang on, real quick, Jeff. On the point of what you were saying, Kyle, is if it was not lit at the beginning of Game of Thrones, but you think was lit at the prologue of Feast, when in between there do we think maybe it got
the
lit?
dragons? I mean, it's when the fire ladder went up and all that shit, right? Like,
Yep.
I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, magic's coming back," so I think it would be around then.
I kind of agree. I just wanted to get that. I feel like that was the ending conclusion of the sentence. You just never put that part in. Yep, go ahead, Jeff.
I also don't like that this glass candle is basically like a security camera of basically, it sounds like wherever you want. Like, oh yeah, Sam,
Peeping.
don't, like the Sphinx says, yeah, we knew you were coming, and we kind of knew what you were going to say too. That's why I'm here. Like, what? Like, you just have an earpiece on whoever the fuck you want now? I just don't like that. I don't like that concept either. So.
Yeah, and I think George definitely left it like unclear exactly how it works. Like they say, oh yeah, we knew everything that you were going to say and stuff, but like how? Like, is it just like you're just like a fly on the wall? That's what it seems like, but I don't know if it's that.
Wherever
easy.
you want to be too, you can just tap into, yeah. So
Yeah.
whatever. So Mara wanted to hear the story. Sam gave it again. Danny was the prophecy. Was basically what it all boiled down to.
This
Right.
tied me
Yeah.
into here, Jeff, where it was like Marwyn knew what he's like. He liked your story. He wanted to hear it again. So that is weird, right?
Yeah.
Like when would he have heard it before? Yeah, that's a good point.
I do see the description. Kyle, you want to read the description of actually what it looks like?
The candle was unpleasantly bright. There was something queer about it. The flame did not flicker, even when Archmaester Marwyn closed the door so hard that papers blew off a nearby table. The light did something strange to colors, too. Whites were bright as fresh fallen snow. Yellows shone like gold. Reds turned to flame. But the shadows were so black they looked like holes in the world. Sam found himself staring. The candle itself was 3 feet tall and slender as a sword, ridged and twisted, glittering black.
Yep. So this is when they talk about obsidian and dragon glass stuff. To me, there have been theories on this. Again, I think the dreams thing make it tricky, like sending people visions. But the rest of it, if you take the dreams and visions part out, this thing could just be like a really bright light / cell phone device. Looks that you talk to each other from far away, and it's really bright. Like the light Sam describes here is just like an LED. Like literally, if someone from the Middle Ages saw an LED for the first time, it's unpleasantly bright, queer. It didn't flicker. Like literally, any light bulb doesn't. Some light bulbs flicker, but most light bulbs don't flicker. Right? They do kind of change. The things look different under like light, like a LED light, than they do under like sunlight. Reds were super red, yellow. You know what I mean? So the sight of it itself. Because again, I don't believe it at this point, but there were theories that I was kind of behind at some point that were saying Game of Thrones is set in a post-apocalyptic.
I feel like you said that years ago now, but yeah.
World. I think this is one of the points where it's like, oh, what if this fucking thing's just an iPhone on a tripod, right? Like with the flashlight on or something like that. You know what I mean? And people are just FaceTiming each other every once in a while.
Case.
Yeah,
By accident, they click the FaceTime.
Yeah. I think the dreams throws a little wrench into that, but I think it's kind of interesting to ponder for half a second. But yeah, the description, if it's not a cell phone or not just an LED light, it's kind of an interesting
Has Sam tried saying, "Hey Siri"?
We don't know.
All right, let's wrap her up. What do we?
Yep. So he Sam retells the whole story. He says Sam explains that it was Aemon, that Aemon thought that Dany was the fulfillment of the prophecy, not Stannis or Rhaegar or Rhaegar's son who got his head smashed. And Marwyn says, born amid salt and smoke, beneath a bleeding star, I know the prophecy. Not that I would trust it. Gorgon of old Gis once wrote that prophecy is like a treacherous woman. She takes your member in her mouth. You moan with the pleasure of it and think how sweet, how fine, how good this is. And then her teeth snap shut and your moans turn to screams. That's the nature of prophecy, said Gorgon. Prophecy will bite your prick off every time.
He chewed a bit.
Still. And then this is when Alaris is like, well, Sam did say that Aemon wanted to go herself, but definitely thinks we should send a maester. Someone needs to counsel her, protect her. And Marwyn's like, it's probably good he died, or else when he showed up, they would have fucking killed him. Which is, I guess at Jeff's point, maybe not that weird. Like, he's literally showing up being like,
treason.
Yeah.
So, listen to me. Let's go overthrow the government.
It is a good point. This is
unless he was really like, look, it's not about the throne, it's about the greater good, and Dany's not gonna fight for the throne, she's just gonna save the world type of thing. That would be the only way they wouldn't kill him, and they'd probably all look at him like, we don't believe in giants and others and everything like that anyway. Like, you're fucking crazy. Let's go put him in the cell. Yeah,
exactly. Let's put him with Walgrave. We got another one. Yeah, so Sam's like, why? Why would they kill him? That's crazy. Marwyn says, who do you think killed the dragons last time around? Gallant dragon slayers armed with swords? The world the Citadel is building has no place in it for sorcery or prophecy or glass candles, much less for dragons. Ask yourself why Aemon Targaryen was allowed to waste his life upon the wall, when by rights he should have been raised to Archmaester. His blood was why. He could not be trusted, no more than I can. Super interesting line. Is Marwyn a Targaryen? Is Marwyn got some blood? Or is he just
I don't think so.
He's on the side of magic, so I can't be.
I think that's what he's saying. Is like, I can't be trusted either. But is this saying that instead of killing him, they sent him to the wall?
Yeah, they sent him to where I guess he's not going to influence other maesters. And
are you drinking a Surge, Nelson? What the fuck is that?
Sour Monkey.
Okay, sorry. The can look like a Surge.
Never seen it in a can. I don't think.
But yeah, so that's what they did. They sent him to the wall instead of like killing him and having to do that whole thing.
Yeah, they
that's the claim.
Killed him with exile.
Yep. And Alaris is like, what are you gonna do?
I'm going.
And Martin's like, well, I'm gonna go. I gotta do it his place then.
Someone's gotta go. I gotta help Dany.
And I said a few times earlier when Sam was getting off the cinnamon wind, we'll come back to it. Here he says, I'll go ride on the cinnamon wind, and with good wind, we should get there before any of the other maesters who are sent on a galley. Why would other maesters be sent on a galley? He tells Sam, don't tell anybody else. So why would other maesters be sent to Dany? One question I have. Two, Sam needs to go back to that ship and get Aemon's body and Gilly off of there before Marwyn goes anywhere. And Marwyn just like fucks off and is like, I'm going. And if that's the ship he plans on taking, like, are we going to find out?
The Morrow thing you were talking
exactly
about earlier?
Like Gilly's waiting like for the Morrow. If that ship's fucking gone tomorrow, if Marwyn shows up, it's like, here's a fuck ton of money. Let's get the fuck out of here. Is it like, see you later, Gilly? You're off.
They'll kick him off.
Like, is Gilly? Are we going to see Gilly and Marwyn show up together in a Dany chapter?
Let's be serious. We know that Marwyn knows that Gilly is on that ship, and we know that she was with Sam. Right, like he knows it all. So he's going to be like, all right, Gilly, get off. Sam's waiting for you at the Isle of Ravens. The Sphinx is meeting you here. Blah, 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 blah.
What is on that ship? Like, we've been talking about it.
Books.
No. Well, Gilly?
Books.
Dalla's baby.
And books.
And Maester Aemon's body.
And books.
Why are Dalla's baby and Maester Aemon's body on that ship?
Because they have
their
blood
king's blood.
Do you think Marwyn knows anything about
Aemon doesn't have any blood anymore. Aemon's blood's gone.
Aemon's is king's blood. They preserved his body in a cask of fire wine. I don't know if that does the blood, but
I was
that's
saying,
a
he's gonna be
cask
swollen
full of
and
diluted king's blood fire wine. You know what I mean?
Ugh.
Like,
that's probably gross. Yeah, I wouldn't open that.
I'm saying Aemon's blood's chalked.
I think again, like if Marwyn gets out of here and Gilly baby and Aemon's body or any of either of the two, he's got king's blood and somebody who probably is again. He seems kind of hesitant to some magic, but who might not
start leeching the baby.
Yeah,
he's best friends with Qyburn, who's doing who God knows what with the.
Yeah, I like Marwyn. I like Marwyn right now, but I could see him
maybe he's a bad guy.
To not be a good guy. Exactly. Yes.
Well, do you think they wrote like Aemon on that king's body, or in the bucket of Eamon's body that they have on that boat, the fire wine.
What do you mean? What about it?
You said they shoved him in a barrel, right? Like
a barrel of fire
they had
wine.
to travel with him. Yeah, did they write Eamon real big on that? Like do not drink.
Nah, they've been drinking.
I think we joked about this in the last one. Was somebody drinking Eamon wine? Yeah.
Okay.
That night they got really drunk.
Because they were drinking after Eamon died to celebrate, but they also put him in a barrel. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. That just guess we had a good conversation before then. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's out. Marwan's out.
Valerius told him that they knew he was coming, right? And then
and Marwan tells Sam, forge a chain and do it quick because you're going to be needed on the wall.
Yeah, we need to get you back up there.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what he said? I missed that part, I guess. Then.
The wall's going to need you.
Yeah, it is funny. They pretty much just tell him, like, yeah, no, don't tell any of the maesters. Tell them that you're here because you want to learn and you're super eager and we need you and, like, you're here to serve the good of the realm. Like,
yeah. What should I tell them? Tell them that they're very smart and that you love obedience and that honor, service is the highest honor. Basically, like, all this shit his dad hated. Like, what? I'm going to go and serve someone for my whole life and just, like, be a servant? Like, that's no way. Right? Though, the other thing, I don't know if we mentioned it with Leo. Leo tells Sam that his father said that he was dead. It seems like Leo's insulting Sam, but I could very well see that actually being true. Randall just sent Sam to the wall and told everyone he's fucking dead.
I thought so.
And the way Leo says it, he's like, or maybe he just wanted you to be dead. And I also am unclear if that's just a Leo insult or if Randall told people, oh, he's
dead to me.
Like,
he's at the
people
wall.
were like, oh, is he dead? And Randall's like, I wish he's actually at the wall. Where like Randall might have been the one that said, oh, he's not dead, but I wish.
I can see both being true. Randall doesn't give a fuck.
It's crazy how that's a possibility that a dad would say that about his own kid. But yes, I agree.
Yeah. All right. So Laris is like, yeah, we knew you were coming. The young pasty boy starts to go get Sam set up. And Sam's like, don't know about this guy. Got a weird face.
Real quick, let's take a second on, we knew Sam was coming.
I already said it.
Sure. How do they know? Right. You know, it's unclear. Like, we don't know how this glass candle works. Is it like mirror, mirror on the wall, show me something cool, and it just showed me Sam and Eamon? To me, like, you have to know what to look for.
I already said my piece about it. Like, are you just literally flying around the whole realm and you could tap into any spot you want? And I don't like that if that's the case.
Well, I guess my point, Jeff, is even if that is the case, how do you know that what Sam is up to is important? Like, wouldn't you be? I feel like I'd be hanging out in King's Landing. I wouldn't be hanging out with some fat boy in the wall.
Because they could have tapped in to John and Sam talking about it at the wall, right? And being like, oh, you got to go here, blah, blah. You got to take King Blood. Then he talks with Eamon. Yeah. And then, like, if they just been following Sam on the whole path, because for whatever reason, they locked in on Sam, right?
For whatever reason,
I think Eamon would be the connection.
I think it's a decent option, as they were just keeping eyes on Eamon, and at some point Eamon was up to something. Like, there's the king's at the wall or whatever.
Again, you say keep an eyes on, but this has only been 3 months that this candle has been burning. It's not like this has been them constantly flying around.
You're assuming that it got lit since the prologue. Okay.
Even Kyle even said it could have been lit when the dragons were born, which would have been like 2 years, year and a half at this point. So
yeah.
I still think it's a question. I think the answer of they're checking in on Eamon and every once in a while, or maybe when Stannis went to the wall, the idea is like, oh, let's take a peek of what's going on up there. I still think it's weird of why do we know Sam is important? Like, why are we watching him? But
I think it's the idea of visions to me, right? Like, it's like you get the important weird prophecies or weird visions come to you that, like, somehow it's like these major events. And it was Sam, right? Like, Sam showing up at King's Landing was a pretty major event in the scheme of things.
King's Landing?
Or King's Landing. Old Town. My bad.
Sure.
Yeah, but, like, how would they know that? Like, are they...
It's magic, dude. You're right. That is a little frustrating. But
that's
like the
why
way
I don't
visions,
like it. Like, they got a bell rung and it's like, hey, Sam just came through the dock. Maybe you should tap in.
They turn on the flame, and that's what's on TV that day. It's like, oh fuck, here's Eamon shows up.
So it's more like mirror, mirror, and that's basically what Melisandre claims.
I would rather the glass candle tell you, like, you just look into the candle and you don't have the option of searching around the whole fucking realm. Like, you just got to look into it and take what it gives you.
That's how I see this.
So there's another term that they call dragonglass / obsidian. Besides, it's more of like a phrase. I think they call it frozen fire.
Maybe.
To me, what's weird is they call it a candle. Haven't we seen people like seeing things in
I've been
fire
saying that
before? Like Melisandre?
I said that an hour ago.
So I guess to your guys' point, if it works like that works, like it doesn't seem like Melisandre has 100% control on what she sees.
I don't think that's how the glass candles work, though.
You don't think it's similar to that?
No. Because they're choosing. Because they're choosing. There's a whole dream aspect of it too, right? So like
we haven't seen that in action.
I know, but it's there, right? They just told you that you could do it.
But who's to say Marwyn's not lying? You know, well, I'm not. That's me being an asshole by saying that. But yeah,
I mean, if we're looking at it close, he probably knows something he shouldn't know. But
no, I mean, he definitely does. That's what we said. He knew what Sam's story was already.
Well, they say he did. He says that, but prove it.
Yeah, and then Sam tells him the whole story. Yeah.
What do you mean, prove it?
Does he say anything to
It's easy
Sam?
to say. I know everything. I know everything you're about to tell me, but tell me again anyway.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Like that's
I mean, there's a little bit of Wizard of Oz factor here, right? Like, oh, I know everything from this. Like, tell me again because I already know, but I want to hear it.
Yeah.
But
so he's gone. They say we saw you coming. Hal nods to the candle, and then like Jeff said, get his room ready. Sam's like, yeah, sure, I'll live in Walgrave's tower with you. And he's like, I'll get some blankets. It gets cold in there, even at nighttime.
I did think it was funny that now he's in another fucking rookery. And he's like, I hope you don't mind the ravens. And he's
probably
like,
right at home.
Well, we know he doesn't really like them, right?
Yeah. But yeah, exactly. So that's what's funny to me. It's like this dude just one place to the next. But I guess that is kind of a maester's job, but still it's just funny for him.
Yep. And then the very last couple lines in this chapter, Jeff, you pull your book open.
Yeah, this wouldn't have meant anything at all without the prologue, I don't think. I think it's been so long that I would not have remembered this, yeah.
My thanks.
There was something about the pale, soft youth that he misliked, but he did not want to seem discourteous, so he added,
My name's not Slayer, truly. I'm Sam. Samwell Tarley.
I'm Pate.
The other said.
Like the pig boy.
Yep. Kyle, what do we think about this?
I mean, what we think about this, if I would have read this normally like every other chapter, I would have not thought anything about this. I would have just immediately been like, all right, whatever. I don't know Pate. I thought I knew. Then I would have been like, oh no, wait, that was Watt, because we'd learned of a lot of Watts. But anyway,
we've also heard of a lot of Pates this book too. Like there was an old High Septon that was a Pate. There was a
So exactly, it would have just went right over me. But from the prologue, followed Pate. Which is why I was mad earlier when you were like, yeah, we saw Pate again. Because the prologue ends pretty much with him blacking out on the cobblestones after meeting with the alchemist.
He had that strong cider.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a shady back alley deal. Like, it was not because like even as he was falling, he's like, what's happening? Or he's like, I don't know what's happening. And the guy's like, you never will. And then that's when it blacks out. So like, I mean, it was very clear that this alchemist was involved. Is he one of Zhao Barjo? Like, right? Like, I mean, it kind of felt like that situation where he might have changed into this guy. Because like, it doesn't seem like people.
Zhao Barjo is a random Summer Islander who just chills in the capital asking for money every once in a while. I don't think that's him.
You know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. Arya's dude.
Jack and Hagar.
Jack and Hagar. There, yeah, that's his name. Jack.
Faceless men would be the generic term, I guess.
Yeah. That's the only people we know that have done any sort of, first off, it seems like a kill. And second off, it seems like a identity steal. Because like even his friends aren't concerned, right? Like Alaris is still hanging out with him.
Yeah, still hanging out with Pate. That's what this is actually one of the things I wanted to ask you. I guess Kyle, do you have the description of the alchemist?
Yeah, so Pate is trying to finish the deal he's trying to trade essentially a key that he stole from Walgrave to this alchemist in the alley. And the alchemist asks for the key. And he's like, no, is it something else you want? I'll just get you that instead. And he's like, no, I want the key. But first, and this is Pate, he says, but first, show me your face. And he says, as you wish. The alchemist pulled his hood down. He was just a man, and his face was just a face. A young man's face, ordinary, with full cheeks in the shadow of a beard. A scar showed faintly on his right cheek. He had a hooked nose and a mat of dense black hair that curled tightly around his ears. It was not a face Pate recognized.
So, this is the last time Arya sees Jaqen. My time is done. Jaqen passed a hand down his face from forehead to chin, and where it went, he changed. His cheeks grew fuller, his eyes closer, his nose hooked. A scar appeared on his right cheek where no scar had been before. And when he shook his head, his long hair, half red, half white, dissolved away to reveal a cap of tight black curls. Arya's mouth hung open. Who are you? She whispered, too astonished to be afraid. How did you do that? Was it hard? He grinned, revealing a shiny gold tooth. No harder than taking a new name, if you know the way. Kyle, any resemblances between that and the quote?
No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, it's word for word, right?
Yeah, so again, this is one that I asked the Discord, like, hey, if Kyle doesn't get it, should we tell him? It's hard to get, but you were kind of on it. You basically said,
I said,
I said his name. Yeah,
you said Jalabar Zo, which is totally wrong, but I knew that.
Yeah,
definitely.
but
it's just it was too similar of a name. It's like a Martell and a Tyrell.
Well, I mean, Jalabar's been in the past few chapters. We haven't heard of this dude in a long time.
And this chapter was full of Summer Islander names, right? We had
Kojimo,
Kojuromo, Karulomo, Zondo, Jalabar Zo, right? They all fit in, so yeah.
I mean, I don't feel too bad about that mistake. But yes, that was who I was talking about, was Jack.
Don't feel bad about any names in this book, because there's
Isn't that super cool, Kyle? That quote that I read, I think, is from A Clash of Kings.
Probably.
Yeah, Arya 9, A Clash of Kings.
So yeah, I mean, it definitely felt like that's what happened for sure. Like, and it at the end of that chapter where he he eats shit. Yeah, or not. The end of this chapter, it's like, oh, he didn't want the key. He wanted his identity essentially and the key. Like the trade wasn't just the key. Jaqen needed an in to the Citadel as well.
Yeah, I don't think it was a one-step deal.
With the skills we saw with Jaqen at Harrenhal, though, I don't think like Pate is just like needed. I mean, to your point, and I've never thought of this before.
What do you mean? Pate gets him in the room too.
Right
sure,
here.
my point is like he could kill anybody. Like why Pate? But now that I'm thinking about it, like Pate is connected with the magic guy. So like if somehow Jaqen knew that ahead of time, then yeah, Pate is probably a really good candidate to like if I'm trying to get in with the magic guy.
Well, I mean, what's the key going to do for him? Just the key.
I'm not going to say anything about that. There are theories that there are reasons he might want a key, but I guess I'm not going to.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair thing to withhold. But I mean, my opinion is that the identity was the more important part of that trade.
It's I haven't thought about that, but that makes a ton of sense, right? Like Pate is literally one of the three people now, including Sam, that seems to be allowed into this room.
Yeah,
Leo's still out in the
yeah. We don't know if he's allowed in. You're right.
I'm talking about Sam, Pate, and Alaris.
Yeah.
So that's a great point that I haven't. I'm sure I've heard it at some point, but yeah, I definitely haven't thought about it in a long time. It seems like to clarify, Kyle's saying becoming Pate is more important than getting a key. You would remember more than me because I feel like whatever Pate says about the key makes it seem like it is important in the prologue.
It is. It's like it's the fucking Maester key, right?
Like
it's
only
like the Maester key.
One. Yeah.
It's like, isn't it into the restricted section?
It's like into everything.
It's more than that.
Right?
Yeah, it's like it unlocks every door in the Citadel essentially.
Only the Archmaesters have them, so steal it from the guy who has dementia, right? Who basically only has that as a formality.
You got to take that guy's key away,
right?
Exactly.
You're not letting him drive a car.
If you're not letting him be set a shell, don't let him keep a key. Yes,
that's fair.
I agree.
But so I guess my point is that like dude would have pieced with this key if that was the important part.
Well, the key goes to the Citadel.
Well, the key's only important if you can use it to open the thing.
I know, but I guess that was the other part of it was like Pate. I guess him showing him where the key was by giving it to him helps. But
the other thing is if you kill Pate and don't take his face, then there's questions of where did Pate go?
True, but I mean, he'd been literally talking about running away with Rosie.
Would anybody ever give a fuck? No one would give a fuck.
What did they do with the body when
No
they
one
steal
would
the
give a
face?
fuck.
That's a real question.
It's a good
Arya
question.
just
Jeff.
dumps it in the canal.
She didn't steal a face though.
That's true. She just dumped his body in the canal, but they are next to a canal. So
to answer your other question, Pate had been talking about running away with Rosie the whole time, pretty much. He didn't really voice any of it, but that was like his whole thing was I could run away. I could run away. So anyway, but yeah, no, I don't know, Jeff. I don't know how the identity theft goes.
Where does the faceless body go?
Well, does it turn into the other guy? Does he now
Jaqen?
have the scar and the?
I don't know.
in what he's walking around?
No, the dead body. Does it now have the scar and the curly hair and the hook nose? Is it just that dead body instead of?
Oh, you're
Pate's?
saying he takes just basically swaps faces and now there's a dead body and they're like, we don't know who this is. It's some random
it's
dead
just
guy
that
with
guy,
a hook nose
yeah.
and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good thought. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we don't know how that works. Yeah, I love this chapter. I feel like it's one of those things where George, I feel like throughout the books has like opened a door, like just creaked the door open on Marwyn, and in this chapter he like opens it wide and slams it. Doesn't slam it shut, but like goes right back to where it was before. So like you have like half a second to be like, wait, what the fuck did I just see? But you're like, you do double take and the door's closed again. You know
There's some important stuff just happened. The glass candle.
This chapter should have been I want to reorder the chapters, and this should have been before Brienne. Brienne should have been the last chapter of this book,
I think that's a good opinion.
or Jamie. But I'd rather it be Brienne. I think
You
Brienne.
think those have better endings than this one?
I think Brienne's ending is the best.
I think that's a decent art. I think that's a decent argument. Jamie's is tricky though. That's a good ending too.
Let me say from this perspective, I think you could make the ending arguments, right, Jeff? And I agree that like you could like Brienne's ending better than this one. That's a completely valid point. I think this one has world implications, whereas
For
those
sure.
other ones are
No
just
doubt,
like our
no
important
doubt.
story implications, right? Like so, like in the scale
Absolutely.
of that,
Like I said, I think this one has the probability or the chance of taking the book into a place where I don't want it to go.
that's
Yeah,
fair.
exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like I've said that too, right? Like the rampant magic is dumb, right? Like that's not ever been kind of my idea. So
I think this is one of the chapters that obviously I've said it a million times, but this is clearly the major chapter we've had so far that makes a reread crazy. Every dream you can look at and be like, A, did Marwyn send this? If we think because we know Marwyn actually has a glass candle at some point it started burning. And then B, that Jeff said, there's Kyle said, I guess there's three other
more,
candles in the Citadel. Did they also like? Is it a thing where just like dragons are born? Poof, we didn't have to do anything. They're all just burning now.
I don't think so because
it didn't sound that easy.
people didn't know about it, right?
Yeah.
So like, unless you're willing to try to light it, and like maybe know a little bit about it, I don't think you could light it, right? So the mage, the one who's really fucking around with this thing, is the one that got it lit. Isn't shocking to me.
Yeah, that makes the most sense for sure. I'm pretty sure when Danny's in Karth, I think there's just like basically someone is telling Danny about all the crazy shit that's happening. Like, this is happening here. This is happening here. There's glass candles burning in the house of Earthon Nightwalker.
Okay.
Hang on, I got a search device and fire up right here.
I do think I do remember the glass candle burning, but maybe it's the prologue one I'm thinking of.
This is in Daenerys 5, A Clash of Kings. It is said that the glass candles are burning in the house of Earthon Nightwalker that have not burned in 100 years. Ghost grass grows in the garden of Gahi. Phantom tortoises have been seen carrying messages between the windowless houses of Warlock Way, and all the rats in the city are chewing off their tails. So he's talking about like shit that's going crazy, and the first thing he leads with is glass candles are burning in the house of Earthon Nightwalker that have not burned in 100 years. That's in Clash of Kings, which is right after the dragons are born, right? So kind of to your point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so did Earthon Nightwalker do something special? Again, it sounds like a dude who might be messing with glass candles, so maybe.
Yeah, I mean, and we saw all those like warlocks and stuff over there.
But again, I don't think it's crazy to think that dragons are born, all these candles get lit at the same time, right? I don't think that's. I think it's probably like a 20% chance.
I think it's less than that.
Okay.
2%.
Again, we don't know, which is kind of what's great. But anything else to say about the chapter, Kyle?
Did I say? Yeah, I said we might get some Sam stuff from John in the next book, maybe. But yeah, other than that, okay, yeah, no, then no, nothing else.
Yeah. Also, I think most people don't listen to these live, but anyone who does listen to this live, we're gonna take like a month break. I think a month, hopefully a month. Then you guys should start getting episodes again.
What do you mean by live?
Anyone who like listens sees the day or week they come out. Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna take like a month off. Sorry, but these Feast of Crows chapters have just been so long that it takes extra work, and I'm behind on my notes. Jeff just had a new baby. Jeff's in football season, so it's just busy time of the year for everybody. Kyle, it was his birthday the other day. So
Happy birthday, Kyle.
Yeah.
happy birthday, Kyle. Just busy time of the year. We're gonna take a month off, catch
Kyle's
up.
getting old. He gets tired throughout the week. He can't.
To be fair, we won't be 100% off. Hopefully we get a few records in there, but we're just not gonna be publishing. Hopefully building up a backlog so that we don't have to be missing a week here and there every month or two like we have been recently. That's the other thing is the next few ones we have to record are going to be, the Mystery Lights is going to be a lot of work for me. That's way more pages to take notes on than normal. And then also I was thinking, instead, normally we do like an end of chapter wrap up. I think we should still do that.
End of book, but
Or
yeah.
end of book wrapped up. So I think we should still do that. But I think we should also probably do a pre-dance wrap up where maybe we like talk about just more for Kyle's site than anything else. I'm sure it'll be mostly me recapping you guys of where all the characters from Storm of Swords
that we've been missing are
now.
I like it.
So those might be two separate chapters.
We'll figure that stuff out. Yeah.
And then obviously the Mystery Night one will be out in there. And then we'll be back to the regular schedule. But yeah, don't expect one for about a month. Sorry, but not sorry. See you guys then. Or see Kyle then. See Kyle in a month and a half. See the rest of you guys in the spoiler section. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Later, nerds.
See you, Kyle. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Bye, Kyle.
Bye, Kyle.
See you on the next one. Now, on to the spoiler section.
Well, just the next one. We don't even know what that next one will be. See you in the next one.
Well, prologue,
Or,
Dance of Dragons. Well, yeah,
or
I
is
mean,
it a
next will be
mystery
the.
night?
I think it'll be Feast of Crows wrap up, Mystery Night, Dance of Dragons prep,
Feast of Crows wrap up.
and then prologue.
All right. What are our hot takes?
I feel like I don't have many. I guess one thing we should say right off the bat is I think it's interesting that Kyle. It seems like he seems something sus about Alaris. Also, you slipped in a she. I think I did once or twice too. Me and you each called her she once or twice. I think,
Maybe.
even though that it's supposed to be he.
If I did, was that a Freudian slip?
I think you slipped it in once, and then I think I slipped it in once. Like right after you did it, I was trying to like be very careful about it, and I think I just fucked it up. Like the paragraph afterwards.
I mean, that's surprising that I did it because I don't even think of her as a her yet. Like I don't know her. Like I know she is a sand snake, but like it's not on the top of my brain that she is. That
the thing that I thought was funny was Kyle was like he was telling us about the Sphinx, right? He was like, "Oh no, trust me, I know. Let me read this quote from the prologue." He's like, because he forgot what her mother was, because her father is Dornish and her mother is Summer Islander. I knew her mother was Summer Islander. I just felt like if Kyle was like, "Hang on, what's her mother?" Cause they call her the Sphinx because she's a mix of things, and Kyle forgot what she was. And I was gonna say Summer Islander, but I felt like me saying that would have been like, "Oh, I actually know this character, and I too much
I care
of a
about
giveaway."
this character
So
too much.
Why do I know so much about the Sphinx? Maybe because she is the riddle. Exactly. But more than I think about it, though, I think the Citadel is more likely to be the riddle than she is.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's a riddle and a riddle, right? Like you have the all Citadel, which like everyone looks at as, if you're not thinking about it as they have an ulterior motive, which is what Marwyn drops on them, right? Which again, like that could be the riddle. Like is Marwyn the riddle, right?
I never thought about that before. I feel like really turned me over just in the non-spoiler section to make me think. Like I always thought that Marwyn was giving Sam a huge reveal. After what you said, Marwyn told Sam nothing. Like, hey, if Aemon would have showed up and started saying, hey, we should come bring Daenerys over and claim her as the savior, yeah, they would have killed her because that's just treason, period.
Yeah.
Like, there's no magic needed. Like, we hate magic needed for them to not like that idea. That's just straight up treason. So I think that's a great point that Marwyn, like, Sam might agree more with the normal maesters than he does with Marwyn. But the way Marwyn's spending this, and again, like, he's friends with Qyburn and Miriam Az-Dor, who, like, not great.
I think
people,
even
right?
don't cut me off here too. But like so just going off of that point, or just kind of piggybacking, I don't know if Marwyn's intentions with getting Sam, like stealing Sam from Theobald, right? Like he told him, "Oh no, we're stealing you away," quote unquote, because Theobald won't listen to your story. Like they won't take it seriously. I'm the only one. Like so, I'm getting all this information and me being Marwyn to then use on whatever fucking path that he's going to Dany, right? Which is he head villain? Like is Marwyn head villain? Is he gonna go? I don't know. I didn't read about it. I read a comment as you're talking to some of the fans in Discord. Like, is Marwyn gonna go try to fucking kill the dragons now? Like, is he anti-dragon? Is that part of it? Is he gonna go kill Dany? Does he not want Dany to be even like? There's a whole lot. Like, I don't know enough about him. You probably do. I don't know if there's the next chapter. I have no idea where the story goes in a Dance of Dragons or even in the Wind summary chapters or little.
We hear nothing about any of this. So like everything I said about could he have taken Gilly? Could he have taken Aemon's body? All that is. I don't think he's on the table. I don't think he took Gilly, but I think him taking Aemon's body is definitely on the table. Yeah. So we don't really know much about Marwyn. Yeah. He definitely does not show up yet in the Dannys that we see.
I don't know too much about dead bodies, but like. Your blood's got to go somewhere, right? Like it's got to.
If Melisandre was able to do what she did with the leeches from Gendry, and to your point, like yes, like if you take just his body out and leave all the liquid in the cask, you're not getting all the king's blood. But say you have a huge ass fucking bonfire going, and you just throw the whole cask, Aemon and all in there, you're getting all the king's blood, one way or the other, right? So again, I don't know if this is gonna happen, but I don't think it's crazy to say that because you have Aemon's body in a cask of wine or a cask of rum, that the king's blood part of it is gone, which is what I feel like you're kind of alluding to, right?
I mean, the only thing I think that does save it is that he's in the cask of wine, right? Like, I don't think you could just go to any obviously, you can't go to any Targaryen grave and just start digging up remnants of their bones and
well, why not?
hoping that there's bone marrow in there.
I understand your point is because there wouldn't be blood left, but my point of why not is because they burn all Targaryens.
Right.
That's why they didn't just throw him overboard and they put him in the cask, because he thinks the Targaryen should get burned, but Kahuro Mo wouldn't let a pyre be on the ship last chapter.
Sure.
Sam Lilly says that, so that's why he thinks they're going to come get his
that's a good
body
point.
to burn.
I mean, most are already burned. It's not like there's
no bodies in the ground to go dig up. But I understand your point. Is that wouldn't work anyways, which is true.
Well, they got to do something with the bones at some point. They did something with the bones. So
I agree. I understand your point, and I agree with it. That even if they did bury them, digging that body up and burning it should.
So I think coming into this chapter, I was more so like Marwyn's on the good guy side of it, and I don't know if I'm there yet. So I do think he's a part of the riddle. The Sphinx, is he the Riddler or the riddle? I think he could be a part of it. I think obviously Alaris being undercover Solera already is a riddle in itself, right? And then maybe you do have the actual Grand Maesters playing at the realm, right, and having an ulterior motive.
So the Sphinx is the riddle, not the Riddler. If it's Alaris, how does Aemon know? I think is a great question. He has to have been getting a vision, right? Someone had to have been giving him a dream. Who's the most likely person to be sending Aemon a dream about Alaris not really being who she says?
Probably fucking Marwyn.
Exactly. So to me, what's the point in that? Which is why I think I said this in the last Sam chapters. Like, to me, I don't understand the point of the Sphinx being the riddle. Like, it seems like it fits, but how does Aemon know, and what's the point? Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it doesn't fit with all Aemon spouting a bunch of shit about dragons and prophecies, and just the Sphinx thing seems very out of place with the rest of it. So I don't know. I think it fits more that we are actually talking about the Citadel. And the one thing I guess I'll point out, I don't know if you were thinking about this too, is because you mentioned it in the non-spoiler, the Sphinxes outside the Citadel. One has a man's face and one has a woman's face. And Alaris, the Sphinx, is a woman posing as a man. Is that what you were kind of?
No, but it is. I mean, that's a good point. I think it's also just interesting that they have a woman Sphinx up there, but the Citadel is all men. Like, to that point, like,
that's
it's
true.
It's an all men deal that they took the time to put a woman's Sphinx.
A woman's face,
there's weird shit going on at the Citadel.
Yep.
AKA the Vatican City of Westeros.
The college.
Do
you have anything else? I only have one more kind of thing.
I don't really have anything else other than the grand scheme of like the glass candles are too powerful. And like, I know we have Quaithe who's going to start visiting Dany in her dreams.
Yep.
Right, which gives us more knowledge of another glass candle and probably working with Marwyn of it all. Or
that was one of the things I actually looked up. I don't know if you noticed, there was one point in this chapter where I took like 2 minutes and I was like Googling something. I was looking up on the search of Ice and Fire when you and Kyle were trying to figure out how we were going to pronounce Seneschal. I knew there's a prophecy to Dany that says, beware the perfumed Seneschal, which people wonder, does that mean Varys? Does that mean Raznak?
I mean, it could mean Marwyn, right? Or
there's a bunch of people in Karth at the time that it could fit. There's like 2 or 3 people in Karth at the time that it could fit. There's also, I think, a boat that has a name that basically means the same thing. It's not the same words, but it means the same thing. I think it's one that Tyrion comes on. I forget what it's called. But whatever, yeah. Dany gets that prophecy, and I was looking up. I thought she might have got that in the House of the Undying. So that's what I was searching, but she didn't. I think she gets it in a Quaithe glass candle dream. So kind of, I think, in the next book.
Yeah. So again, like, if this all boils down to Bloodraven versus R'hllor versus,
there's one spoiler you dropped. You're like, so Bran's getting all these visions fed to him from somewhere. We know that. I'm like, well, I mean, we know that because of Bloodraven, but Kyle doesn't know about Bloodraven yet. Spoiler, Jeff.
Maybe.
Dang, fucked up. I covered it for you.
No, I don't think that's what I don't think that's what I said. I think Bran's getting dreams, right? So like, if you're just what I meant to say, maybe I didn't portray it good enough. You probably cut me off, which made it sound worse.
Wow. Somehow I'm getting blamed for your spoiler. Okay.
now that you have this info that dreams are influenced or visions are influenced, you need to go back and think about every dream that's been had, and Bran's getting these very cryptic messages about his life path. So, bam, there you go. So
for sure, but I feel like whatever you said something like, so we know Bran for sure has been getting fed visions. You said like we know
I
at
don't
least.
think I said that.
I forget what exactly you said, but I feel like the implication was very similar to that. And then I covered for you. You're welcome. I convinced Kyle off of it by
I
saying,
don't think it did.
yeah, but characters like Jamie seem very unmagical and get weird dreams. But then you have characters like Jojen and Bran who seem like they're definitely tapping into something and they're still getting weird dreams. So it's hard to tell when something's getting fed versus just like naturally happening. And I think Kyle even said, yeah, I think Bran's just tapping into something. I think Jamie's getting fed.
But all right, well, whatever. We still like Kyle would think that it's the old gods tapping into Bran's dreams, right? More so than a person right now. I didn't say blood ravens in a tree tapping into Bran's fucking brain.
Well, and I want to ask you this too. I feel like we kind of know the answer because we get a Melisandre chapter in Dance, but like assume glass candles, weirwoods, and
is that
fire
where she
magic?
talks about being? Hold on, is that where she talks about being at the case of like, and it's like, oh, this perfume will make the fire go 100 feet tall.
Yeah.
All right, I knew that fucking chapter existed, or if it was a scene in the show, I'm like, that girl's a fraud, and I forget where it was.
Her chapter in Dance is very interesting because she definitely admits that a lot of what she does is fraud. She has powders and stuff.
But then
in her
she
sleeves,
can see, but she does see.
But a lot, she doesn't sleep. She doesn't eat. She does see things in the fire. So exactly, like she definitely plays it up. So like the leeches thing, I believe she saw something in the fire with like she saw that all those people were gonna die. And then told Stannis, hey, if you do this, then these 3 people will die. She knew they were going to die anyway.
Yeah.
But she convinced him to do it. So, because she wanted to... none of this is clear, but I think she thinks if we actually kill Edric Storm, that, like, she believes in the king... She actually believes in the Kingsblood thing. I don't know why, but she actually believes in it.
She just needed Stannis to believe in it.
Yes. She knew it wasn't powerful enough for the leeches to actually work. So she saw that in the flames and used that as a tool to convince Stannis that Edric was...
Yeah.
And I think that is a very good example of how she uses all her powers. She does have powers, but she uses these potions and powders to make flames go big. And like Kyle, I think Kyle even pointed this out in the Clash of Kings prologue. When Crescent... Remember Crescent drinks the poison and she drinks the poison and he dies and she doesn't. How does that work? Maybe it was at you, actually. One of you... Somebody pointed out... It might have been Glow. Back in the day, Glow was here. Somebody pointed out to me, I never realized before, he falls asleep with the potion, with the stranger pills out. He had poured them out of the bottle, looked at them, fell asleep on the table, woke up like literally 8 hours later. They're still out on the table, and he puts them back in the vial, and then he's like, no one woke me up. Well, what if someone did come to wake him up? This wasn't my idea. What do you guys said this?
I don't think it was me. Maybe it was. I don't think it was.
Somebody said it might have been Kyle.
People probably don't know, like, oh, that's a stranger.
But what if
like
it was...
how recognizable is
well,
it?
guess what? Guess who is Maester Crescent's
Melisandre switched them out.
Hang on, time out. In Clash of Kings, Maester Crescent is at Dragonstone. Are there any other Maesters at Dragonstone?
Yeah, I don't.
Pylos. Crescent's too old. He's about to die. So they have sent a second Maester. So if anyone's coming... And Crescent kind of likes Pylos. He's a good student, but he does think he's too loyal to Stannis. So if Pylos comes to wake him up, who is probably who would come, and he sees this, he would know. Because exactly, that's your argument, is who would know. And I feel like we had this, again, I'd never thought of this, and one of you guys, I feel like, brought this up in the Clash. It probably wasn't you then, because you're an idiot. Probably Glow. Let's give some credit to Glow. Might have been Kyle.
Glow wasn't even here.
But the point is,
Melisandre
could have just done the trick with Crescent straight up by she put antidote in her own wine ahead of time, knowing this was coming. So that type of thing where she does have power.
It probably was now that sounds like my idea.
It's one of these things where she does have some power. She can see stuff. Maybe she saw in the flames that he was going to poison her.
Right.
So she did it that way, right? Just something like that. But it's not as much as she... And I feel like something, like to your point, back to this chapter, it could be very similar with Marwyn. Where, like we said, he says, oh, I know everything you're going to tell me, but tell me anyway. It's like, okay, wait, what do you really know?
Okay, fuck off. Exactly. But the dream part, again, the dream part's too strong to then like, oh, you're just seeing a vision or two yourself in the dream. Like, you're tapping, again, it's really weird how, like, you touch the glass candle and then, like, you can just find dreams out there. There's a fucking dream network where you're just seeing who's asleep right now. All of it's too weird.
Yeah.
which is great, which is why it's fictional. But it gets me back to the grand scheme of things. Like, this story was so much deeper about families and feud and war, where if it gets into
3 puppet masters,
like 3 like magical,
one through a weirwood, one through a glass candle, one through a big bonfire, that makes I agree with you. It detracts from everything.
That turns me off on the whole thing.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. It detracts from everything.
It turns it away from like the Starks and the Lannisters and that, which I think is way more powerful and where we're way more invested. Than like, it's all cool, don't get me wrong, but like, if it's taking away the shine from our characters that we like the most, which is Dany and Bran and Jon and Cersei, right? And then it's like, okay, well, what the fuck's Marwyn and Quaithe and Melisandre and Bloodraven up to? Like, those are the people I just don't care about a whole lot.
So I 100% agree with you, and I think this is one of the things that we should keep an eye out for in the Melisandre chapter when we do get to that on the reread and dance. I think the trick that we have to keep in mind is these people who do have magic, George has said many times, magic isn't like Harry Potter where you learn it and you can do it. There's always a cost. If you're doing magic, there's a sacrifice.
Sure, and we have seen that too.
So to your point, if Marwyn knows all this, he says it burns and doesn't consume anything. That doesn't seem to be like how magic works in Georgia. That's one of the biggest things that caught my eye in this chapter. Is like, that's not how magic works in this world.
But him using the glass candle at all, like, does tapping into a dream, like, do you need to prick your thumb and give a little bit of blood so you can do that? Or because what's Bloodraven given? Bloodraven's already basically a corpse that's fucking sitting in a tree.
But would he be? Hang on, would he be if he didn't have all the magical power? Like, again, we don't know how that worked. At one point, he was the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. He was a great knight. He was the hand of the king.
100 years ago.
But my point is, at some point, he gave up the freedom of physical mobility for more magical powers. And it might have made sense at the time because he was an old man, right? And again, Bran becomes paralyzed. Magical powers. I've argued, if anybody, Sweet Robin, magical power. He's drinking sweet sleep like it's nothing. Exactly. These like physically, like once you give up that almost, and it's almost not even like you have to give up that for magic, but once you give up that opens the door almost too. And again, I don't know, but I think it's interesting to think about. I feel like I had one last thing.
We need to go back to the post-dragon time and just cut all the magic out. Back to war.
I think, I forget what we were talking about, but I think, to your point, Marwyn could 100% be playing the Melisandre, where he's telling Sam, I know all this, blah, 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 blah. He didn't know he knew 1/100th of what he said, but it was enough to convince Sam because Sam didn't know any better, know to ask anymore.
But but then Alaris is waiting for Sam at the desk. Like, I don't think Alaris is going every day at the desk until Sam showed up.
Sam was there long enough to fall asleep. It's not like he was there ahead of time. What if the dude would have let him up?
But I'm saying that's why I believe that they've actually been tapping into around Sam to find out something along the way. Because, like, why would they even think Sam had anything good to bring to the table if it was just, happenstance? Oh, Samwell Tarly's here from the Wall? Like, let's go bring him to our side. Like, no, they wouldn't have done that unless they knew he had Aemon, and they've been talking about Dany.
What if he's lying about the Maesters and they don't actually hate magic, and they would have been really receptive to this news? They would have been like, yo, we need to tell everybody about this and send men to the Wall. Again, I think that's far-fetched. I don't believe that's true. But what if, again, to your point, like, what if Marwyn's the bad guy and he knew glass candle future visions that the Maesters would have been super receptive about?
I do think Marwyn could be the bad guy. I don't think the Maesters would be completely turned off to dragons existing again, these dragons being born, because they do know that they did exist, right? There's physical proofs of them having existed in this world, right? So it's not like craziness that they're back. I think the whites might be a little bit more far-fetched just because that seems to be like 2,000 years ago, right? Like, the history's a little bit crazier, but yeah, I do think that Marwyn could very much be the bad guy and keeping, for what reason, I don't fucking know, again, because I don't know what role he's actually trying to play in this whole story.
Well, so along those lines, like, he says, I'm going to go, Sam, and I'm going to try, and I was kind of making a joke about this, like, he's going to get on Sam's ship and leave before Gilly has a chance to get off. But basically he says, like, the Maesters are going to send someone to Dany When, like, to your point, like, if they thought this was treason, why would they? And he basically says,
Yeah,
I need to take your swan ship so I can beat them there.
I don't. But then again, he tells Sam not to say a word about it. So how would they get?
Yeah, I found it. What will you do? Asked Alaris, the Sphinx. Get myself to Slaver's Bay, in Aemon's place. The swan ship that delivered Slayer should serve my needs well enough. The gray sheep will send their man on a galley, I don't doubt. With fair winds, I should reach her first.
How and why would they send somebody if Sam doesn't tell the story to them?
I agree, but if Marwyn has seen somehow into the future or something, then maybe he knows that Sam isn't because he tells Sam, don't tell them what you know. But
Right.
Aemon told Sam, tell them all. You must convince all the Archmaesters, Sam. What if we get a Sam chapter and Sam's first thought is, you know what? What if Marwyn's the bad guy?
I would be great.
And then the whole chapter is about Sam being conflicted about whether he should tell the other Archmaesters
I would love
or
that
not.
because again, it goes back to the Sphinx being the riddle or the Riddler. So, and like he's been just giving too much info where he's not thinking about that at all.
So then he tells the Maesters, and the Maesters send someone to Dany being like, yo, we need to catch up and make sure Marwyn doesn't do some bad shit right now. That would explain,
right?
And that would explain why Marwyn says they'll send someone on a galley. I don't doubt because he's seen this shit somehow in the glass candle.
But again, I just don't like that. So I'm not putting any. I don't want to put any flack into him just looking into this glass candle and seeing the future, affecting dreams, and also being a spy on.
But what about
whoever
if he thinks that they're sending the Maester because they are trying to counter her, but really they're sending the Maester to stop him? You know what I mean? Like if he sees the future, but he's misinterpreting it somehow. Doesn't that make it a little bit less OP? See, that's what Melisandre's doing, right? She's looking at the future, but mostly misinterpreting it, right?
If Marwyn's that big of a threat, the Maesters would have just taken his chain like they did Qyburn. Like this has already happened.
Qyburn
they kicked him out for doing dirty, weird, magic-y stuff. But like, if that's what Qyburn, or if that's what this guy is, why wouldn't they do that too?
I guess I'll say I agree with you. I think it's a very fair point. The argument I was going to make was exactly what you said. Qyburn was technically kicked out for like cutting open live people, but yes, I would agree that it seems like he was more. You could argue he was kicked out for having the same type of views Marwyn had more than anything. It's just not the way he spins it. But yes,
yeah, I don't know. It's deep. Again, I don't want it to be too deep because it could.
Yeah, let's leave it there. Next, I only have one last point that I want to mention on, and I kind of mentioned in the non-spoiler. The whole tactic of let's sneak into this place, set it on fire, and then attack. I was kind of saying, what if this happens somewhere else? First off, if this happens in King's Landing, there's people think there's wildfire hidden under
for sure.
That would be bad. Second off, I think people think something very similar to this will happen at Winterfell with Stannis.
At Stannis' camp, you're saying?
Stannis is camped outside. I forget exactly what's happened, but I think they've sent the Freys and Manderleys out, and pretty much I wish I knew this better. I'm going to go off my memory. Some of this might get edited out, so I don't sound like an idiot. But Freys and Manderleys, I think, get sent out, and the thought is Manderleys are like basically not on Bolton's side.
Yeah.
So they're pretty much going to turn around. Freys are going to get killed. Stannis is going to win, and Stannis's people are going to dress up as the Freys, and the Manderleys, the real Manderleys, and these fake Freys, really Stannis's men, are going to show back up at Winterfell and be like, hey, we won. We fucked up Stannis. And maybe dress up some of the dead bodies in Stannis's armor and be like, hey, look. And then once they're inside, do a burn Winterfell again or something like that. So,
I mean, it's a good tactic for sure.
Again, I might have some of the houses around there, but I think there are definitely some theories that something like that will happen with the Stannis stuff.
People have come to those conclusions out of nothing.
Because there are definitely people inside Winterfell that are not
Bolton
on Bolton's side. Yes, exactly.
That's interesting for sure.
So, yep, I think that was the last one I had. Don't gotta linger on it. Just kind of interesting stuff.
I'll just say this too, right? Like when we think about Game of Thrones, when we think about the show, people really disliked how Bran became all magical, and like that took away a lot of the aura of the show, right? Is Bran being able to time travel in his mind and whatnot. And
I feel like part of what people hated was that Bran became all powerful and then did nothing with it.
Well, that's very
Like I feel like if he would have become all powerful and then warred a dragon and won the battle with it, people would have fucking loved that, right? But that's not what happened. He just became powerful.
That's too OP. That's too OP. People would have been like, "That's too OP."
Well, my point is, if you say I'm all powerful and then do nothing, it's like, okay.
What do you mean? He sat in the weirwood tree and waited for Ari to fly.
He did nothing.
But then you're just having 3 people. I don't know. And then you have the Faceless Men too. Like, where do they fit into this fucking thing? Like, you have Jack in there. That's fucking weird.
I think you've actually turned me in the last 2 hours. I think you've really convinced me that Marwyn isn't as good as I thought he was, and he is doing the same thing Melisandre is, in that he's saying he has way more ability than he does. I think he does have ability. The glass candles are letting him do something. But here's another point: is if the glass candle is really what's letting him do all this shit, is he just dropping everything and leaving without it?
Seems like it.
Like,
he doesn't pack it up. But then you brought up that, like, if you have any piece of dragon glass, can you fucking light it and look into it? You brought that up, which I
think the answer to that is no.
I would hope the answer to that is no. That's just stupid.
Yeah. But the other thing I was going to say is I recently read at least the first book of The Once and Future King, which is all the tales of King Arthur. The first one is The Sword and the Stone, where he meets Merlin. Once I read this chapter, Marwyn was giving like a ton of like real life gritty Merlin vibes. Like, you walk in, he's got the fucking messy room, books everywhere, scrolls everywhere. He literally says books piled 4 feet high. And if you watch the Sword and Stones movie, that's exactly what Merlin's tower looks like. He's got the kettle boiling over. Merlin's always forgetful. He's definitely giving me those vibes in a way more like gruff way. So I don't know. I kind of like that too. I feel like there's definitely a potential parallel between Merlin from King Arthur and Marwyn.
Yeah, I don't know enough about him to comment.
They call him the Mage, and he lives at the top of the pointing tower. I think there's some intentional parallels, but I don't know. Leave us comments. Tell us what you think. Going way too long. Sam 5. We'll see you guys in the next one. And Feats and Crows wrap up. Yeah. Bye. Sorry, it'll be.
Join us on Discord.
Yeah, join us on Discord. We'll be there for the next month.
Bye.
Bye.